Yes.
Right here. And she's right there in the corner, yeah.
Oh, wow. I look so tan.
Like,
Really tiny, but it's okay. I also will make it so you're big on screen too.
oh, whatever.
I'm in the white corner. No, it's me.
Well, I had to readjust
I don't mind
things,
it.
all right?
Makes me look like I've been in the sun a lot, which I have.
Yeah, nice tan.
And my friend has a pool, so I swim like every Saturday. And so
nice.
my Italian skin is like, yes, please.
Where's my mouse? I need to do something.
So the names are backwards for you, so don't get confused.
I don't see him at all.
Okay,
So
cool, good.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't know if you could see the names.
she's just through Facebook.
Okay,
chat.
cool, that works then.
because it's Kim and Anna,
I'm
right?
Kim. Oh yeah, tank top Kim.
Yeah.
Short sleeve Anna.
Short sleeve Anna.
There you go. It works.
Oh,
And then what's
man.
his name in the middle?
What's
so.
his name?
Yeah, that's
It's just
super.
Jeff. It's
That's super
fine.
rude. Whatever.
We all know who you are, Jeff.
I know. I'm
I've been wearing-
popular. Remember?
I've been wearing a cap all day at work, so my hair is really weird.
I'm sure that's what everybody wanted to know.
My hair?
Yeah.
Thank
Why I
you.
looked weird. All right.
Welcome to the Weird Hair Show.
We need to just blur you out.
But look what my hair's doing, Jeff. It's...
I know. Well,
Okay.
You might be popular.
Enjoy,
All
everybody.
right. Anyways, so
Anywho.
we're back.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello. If you're watching,
Hello.
please say hi and let us know.
I
And we'll
lost
say
one of my
hi to
gadgets.
you.
Wonder he says hello, Jason Davis.
And hi,
What?
Jason Davis.
Jason, what up, dude?
Yep,
Yo,
he just
yo,
said
yo.
hi on there.
We have a special guest today. The lovely Exie is here with us through satellite technology. Jeff is
Oh,
lost
it's right here.
something, possibly his
found
mind.
it.
I found it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I need to be able to
Yes.
control my lights, all right? Shh.
He's wandering.
It
I
is-
do that a
Whoa!
lot. I do that a lot.
So welcome everybody
Yup.
to the monthly Ghostly Hunting. We will not be doing August. right?
Actually, no, I'm not. I was going to tell you guys that.
Okay.
because-
I'm gonna be gone anyway.
Yeah, I have a wedding to shoot that
Woo!
Friday night, and then I've got the event on Saturday, and I'm like, no,
Lit.
I'm not doing shit on Sunday.
Okay, so don't tune in next month. We won't
No,
be here.
We won't.
So
September, though.
yeah. So we always what are we gonna do? What are we gonna talk
All right.
about?
I already kind of explained that we will we kind of go over a couple things in the beginning
Cool.
just to see if anything new is happened.
Yeah.
I bought
What'd you get?
new dowsing rods.
Oh, I bet they still hate me.
Probably do. They probably do. This way I have a pair just for myself, and like
So I can't touch those ones.
no, you can. They're not gonna work for you. Yeah. And then
gonna
I
work for
have,
her.
Dowsing
and then-
rods don't work for me.
and
I
then
hate
the
them.
other pair for.
We'll try them
the
later.
event stuff.
If the show gets a little quiet, I'll just pick them up.
And it's funny.
Always
'cause
entertaining.
It's funny.
It's funny because I went and found my order.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like purchased once, and I was like, okay, I repurchased
again.
it.
Mm-hmm.
These are smaller than the other ones.
I said they look small.
I was just saying they
Yeah,
look a little
they're
smaller.
not. They're like short by like an inch and a half or something. Don't touch my stuff.
I was thinking about it. But yeah,
Thank
so
you,
I don't know.
thank you, Jason.
And I know that Anna got to go on a ghost hunt recently.
I did.
All
yeah.
right. Investigation.
Investigation. whatever
Sorry,
you call
sounded
it.
professional.
It wasn't with these guys, but it was like
I didn't
just
go.
another group. There was another.
She hates us.
You guys just couldn't.
I
come that
couldn't
day.
afford it.
Well, yeah, Kim had to watch. Cause yeah, they,
Watching
they
that
know
money.
her, so it had
That
to be
too.
incognito. So I went with some other haunt members and everything. We had to keep it on the down low as well, which we did.
Was at another haunted house. So sometimes when we go to other haunted houses, we kind of have to act like we don't work at a haunted house because they won't want us there because they think we're there to steal their secrets instead of
Yeah.
investigate,
Yeah.
which we're not.
Amazon.
But so that's what she went. I didn't go
It was cool
partly
because
mostly because of money.
yeah, there was another
Same.
paranormal group that was hosting it too, called Flyer Paranormal.
Flyer?
Yep, Flyer Paranormal. I'm not
Alright,
sure
there you
what. I think they're out of
Little shout out.
like Pinckney area. I'd have to. do more
That's the
research
first time
on it,
hearing
but-
them.
yeah,
So hey, if
first
you
time I heard of
guys
them too.
see this, hi.
So
They were actually pretty cool.
But you had fun. It was nice.
Yeah, it was pretty good. You know,
We're not going to advertise for them. If you hear of a haunted house that's doing investigations, if you want to go, let us know how it
yeah,
is.
we only advertise for
We only advertise
One
for
from-
one haunted house.
from Florida.
The ones that tried to say I worked there? Alcott in Florida actually did use my video.
That was
How
delayed.
delayed are you?
very delayed.
No, my phone went back.
Oh, I was gonna say, damn.
I didn't realize I didn't turn my volume down either, so I guess that's a good thing.
I did mine.
So
I set my
anyway,
whole thing to vibrate.
hey, that was my bad. Sorry, everybody.
I never do.
Jeff, what have you been up to? Anything spooky?
No.
You set up that one thing in the haunted house.
Oh, I did. I did set up my motion LED board, and then the first time we didn't get nothing. There was nothing.
Except for when I
on
turned
there.
off the power.
And yeah, and then I haven't looked through the other one yet because
Oh, hi, Ron.
Hey, Ron.
I technically forgot about it.
Oh,
But then I was editing those pictures too.
cool.
So
We've been having some like weird activity at the haunted house, and Jeff has cool equipment. So we were like, hey, come on up and see if you can capture anything. So I guess we'll see how that goes.
yeah,
Because
I got another one.
we've been hearing hooves and seeing Anna saw an apparition last
My
week when
first
she was
full
there.
one out of going on the 4 years I've been there. I've seen shadows, I felt energy, heard things, but the first full one I've actually seen at this haunted house.
It's pretty cool. And she was like describing him to me, and I was like, oh, that guy, he's fine.
You saw it and you had to know what I seen.
It's all right. I've worked there for like 10 years. I
It
know
was
all the
pretty cool
ghosts. We're all
I
homies.
can't do a whole lot up there because
He's got a block on him.
they don't. They're just like, oh, you're here, screw it, we're done.
Yeah.
Well, we did have, today I was in there by myself for a little while, and a piece of wood came out of nowhere flying at me. I have no idea where it came from. And then the lights went out, and then so I had to sit there and be like, cut the shit! I'm trying to work. I don't have time for this, guys. It's end of July. Like, I need to build. Stop turning off the lights.
Did they turn the lights
Mr.
back
Crane
on?
did turn the lights back on. I was like, sir, do you want to be able to scare people from, like, as a ghost? Is that something you want to be able to do? And he was like, oh, you're right.
Did
We
he
turned the
actually
lights
say
back
that, or are you just assuming?
I'm just assuming.
Oh, all right. That or he's like, I didn't want to hear her whine anymore, so here
He's
they
heard
are.
me whine for like 10 years, so if anybody's used to me, it's the ghosts in the building. They just are like, oh, this bitch. Ugh,
Yeah.
Just turn the lights on or she's going to yell for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But they do. They love to mess with us. So I guess, they can get their jollies out.
For sure.
Their willies. Their
Yep.
spooky looky ookies. They got to
Yeah,
get it
'cause
out
when
somewhere.
I was in the rafters, they didn't, like, nothing was going on. I was
They don't
like,
care about you, Jeff.
I was like, thank you, Rafter Guy, for accommodating me.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our wild updates. Not
Yep.
really. I haven't really
Oh.
done anything other than that. Ghost
oh.
hunting. We sometimes we'll do investigations at Ron's house, and his ghosts will call me slurs for lesbians.
Buttons. They're kind of small, you can't see them, but buttons.
Oh, me. Give me one.
I know.
Yay!
I
Oh,
know.
I like you.
Oh,
No.
you didn't say no to this button on my jacket.
No, I won't.
Oh,
Oh, well, anyways.
It's called fashion, everybody. Look it up.
I
Where
know.
where can everybody buy these fabulous
Yeah.
accessories,
You have
Josh?
to-
So
right now, you have to
cute.
contact me through Facebook.
Cool. Like our
From
Facebook
our page.
page. And you can get blank, blank, blank.
Yeah. Bling. I think that's what you're saying, right?
Blank.
I thought you were going blank, blank, blank. And
You
I
could
was
get a
like,
piece of flair, I guess, if you're an Office Space fan. One piece of flair.
Right.
Or like at Home Depot, they have all the. I used to have that.
Yeah.
Mine's somewhere.
And then you guys can get a lot of this stuff.
We have
Definitely post
so
it back
many
here, too,
things. The
guys.
babies are not for sale
No.
unless you want to offer Jeff more than he paid for them.
You're not getting them no matter what.
We've got all kinds of cool stuff, and make sure you're checking out Lord Mahawk Designs on Amazon, our only sponsor.
Wow. Wow. And then there was something else I was gonna say.
What else were you gonna say?
And those devices that I made.
Oh, you should buy one.
You should, but I've actually been selling them. Like
Nice.
I have to make more.
Are we millionaires yet?
No, I wish.
Take it.
No, I wish. No, well, I have to be careful because like Wish has been screwing me over, so I have to keep jacking up the price.
Those
so
guys
that,
are jerks.
and so that their discounts that they're giving out,
I'm gonna go fight
like
them all.
gets me the money I actually want.
I'm gonna call Wish right now. Tell them.
Do it. And then
Don't talk
Etsy's
like
been
that.
where it's at though.
Yeah. Well, nice. So I guess if you want one, you gotta get it because Jeff is selling them
Yes,
out.
I am.
These things are going like gangbusters, and they're a good, bargain. $30, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
I
you
think
go
that's a
through
good
Facebook,
price.
Yeah, if you go through Facebook.
And they don't make me barf. So if you're sensitive, if you're sensitive to energy and some of the things make you barf, these ones won't. That's
This
my
is-
endorsement.
this is-
Kim tested.
Yeah,
It's been
Kim
me tested. Like one time he set one off, and I was like, Jeff, you have to turn that off
It was an
immediately.
app.
It was an app. It made me feel like I was gonna barf. I don't know what it was. Have you ever had that happen, Exie?
Wow.
But yeah.
I have, yeah. And mostly it's because of the energy that's coming from it.
Okay, well that
So
makes
it
sense.
either- Yeah,
So
it
maybe
either
it was
came at
working.
you as, you know.
Well, I guess I
Well,
didn't think it.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, nothing's been going on in my world.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That hey, at least nothing going on is better than everything, I guess.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Uh,
I mean,
'cause,
paranormal wise, anyways.
Paranormal, you never know.
But yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's our awesome 12
That's our
minute
little
wrap up.
update of
roundup,
what we've been up
whatever we're
to.
doing. Yeah,
Now what? Now we introduce our guest.
yeah. We'll reintroduce our guest.
We are reintroducing the
So-
lovely Exie.
Yes, she's author of these fantastic books that you may not be able to see.
They're
because
back here, I
kind of
promise.
And then she's also a medium and a paranormal investigator
What else?
and some other stuff. I don't
Nice
remember.
lady.
Yeah, she's a nice lady. Well, yeah, that was a given. And also, don't suck up.
I'm not trying to suck up to nobody. I
You
just think she's
are
nice.
super trying to suck up to people, Kim.
Me, never.
Whatever.
Jeff did actually, Jason, I will vouch for him. He did make the devices. He's very smart about that kind of stuff. So if you want to chuck crap about my friend, you can come here.
Don't tell him that. I don't want him to know where I live.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'm not threatening anybody on the internet. Well, maybe I am. I'm kidding,
Not
Jason.
yet.
School season's not in place.
I'm
so-
kidding, Jason. I'm
Ron's
kidding.
like,
Oh, is
"Yeah,
this a
I'm sorry,
child?
good
Yeah.
tool."
Yeah, it's one of the kids I pair
Hello,
with.
child. I'm kidding.
It's one of-
But anyways,
Go ahead.
so we've got.
Oh.
Wow, it's all you now.
Sexy.
She's like, oh, it's just me. She's
Like I don't see myself.
She's
so
like,
that's
"Okay,
fine.
It's like taking notes.
yeah, so what do you want her to talk about?
Don't take notes about me.
She might be taking notes about stuff she wants to talk about.
Oh, that's
I
fine.
did, yeah.
Okay. All right. No, that's good. Just
He
making
wants
sure.
to come over. No, Jason, you can't come over. You're a child.
I mean,
We still like you, though. I wasn't really going to fight you. I'm just saying. He is certain he can make stuff.
she might have been accurate on her threats because she doesn't lie about threats.
Kids.
I know,
So,
right?
I'm a little loopy from being stung by a bunch of bees today, also.
She really is.
I went back behind the building, and there were some bees there, and they were like... "Dit, dit, 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 dit."
Ow.
Yeah, it was not a vibe. So,
That's
anyway.
awful.
What are we doing now?
I was trying to adjust the thing and it's not
Oh, okay.
working.
So I guess if anybody also has I would have mentioned too, if anybody has questions for anybody, if Exie mostly because she's our special guest today,
Yeah.
and we're here all the time, and she's not. So, but of course, if it's for any of us, we got you also.
So that's interesting, Ron. He
Uh,
said he's
Ron-
had
oh,
gotten readings from Exie from the Old Mill.
oh, our
Museum.
friend,
Oh,
our friends
okay.
go to the Old Mill Museum thing every year, and he said he has gotten a reading from you before. I'm assuming it was good.
Yeah.
He didn't say.
He didn't
I
say
would,
otherwise.
You would hope
but-
so, but
I would hope so. So
I love Old Mill. I'm excited. I'm going to go back this year. I'm going to be a speaker.
I always want to go, but it never seems to work out for me for some reason. It's a huge bummer. I hear
Yeah,
great
and it's
things.
just far enough for you guys that it's, if you stay till the end, then you
You get the good stuff.
want to stay, and then because there's always good stuff, and there's always activity going on in that museum. There's always something. So you got to kind of just let stuff happen, and you have to. It's like I swear, you have to stare this way so stuff happens over here.
I get that,
you know?
absolutely.
And the energy in there though is a vortex because
Ooh.
it's just. I think it's the water and everything happening around it, the limestone,
And all the stone, yeah.
granite,
Oh, nice.
so yeah, but I
Metal, all that.
love it.
That's
I'm
one
so
of my
excited to go
favorites.
back. It's
Oh,
just,
they all work. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
it's like going home.
That's very cool. Yeah, I hear good things from my friends who go every year, and I'm always like, darn, when it's a weekend I can't for whatever reason.
Right.
So
Yeah.
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, November 13th.
November 13th? I don't think I'm doing anything that day. Ron, I'm coming with you. Big room in your car.
Taking me with, yes.
That's
Oh,
perfect.
Lord.
I always love a driver.
Yeah,
Come on,
exactly.
take me.
Well, I don't have a car, so I have to have somebody drive me. Oh,
And-
message retracted.
I know, Jason, you were fine.
Jason, it's fine. Or YouTube did it because it was a threat.
Oh, maybe.
It's not a big deal.
It's
dude.
all right. It's all right, buddy.
We all were joking around, so
Yeah.
no offense taken.
Aw.
So yeah. We were talking about-
Yeah, she's you're gonna be at the Susanne, or what's that called? The
Oh, the
up in
Paracon
Sioux.
up north
Yeah.
at the
Oh, and
casino.
Sault Ste. Marie.
Are you going to
Yeah.
that this year too, or?
I will be in the Sioux.
There
Yeah,
you
I'm
go.
going to
She's
do
going to that
do
one
a
too.
gallery. I did a talk last year.
I went last year, but I didn't go to any of the stuff that cost extra. I was just there to.
Just go to hang out.
I was there like just kind of walking around and being
Oh,
like, hey,
and
there's
it's
famous
such a
person eating a hot
riot.
dog.
I think it's Michigan's best convention.
I had a great time. Yeah.
I haven't been.
Yeah,
Not
I mean
bad.
they really do a great lineup, and
Mhm,
they're awesome. They're wonderful people.
for sure.
And Brad and Tim did an event with them last year in Toledo at Oliver House for Chad and Heather and that group. But got to spend time with the people that put on the Sioux event, and so you never get to see them because they're
Right.
just always.
Absolutely, I
I'll
get
be
it.
back. It's like, yeah, right. I know you won't. But so I got to sit with them and
Cooler than us.
drink several gallons and quarts of beer.
Yeah.
And just,
I get exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
yeah, it was fabulous. The brewery was wonderful. So,
Oh.
but the event was fantastic. So,
I bet you get like invited to like so many events though. You have to pick and choose like what you can and can't attend. Like, do you stick around this area more, or do you travel like crazy places?
I try to travel. I try to get definitely out to right now, Indiana, Ohio. Get a little bit out of Michigan, but I do an event every year in Florida. So that one I, definitely go to. Did Salem Con a couple of years ago, which was very low key, but it was amazing. It was my first time in Salem.
Mm-hmm.
That was
I've never got
amazing.
a chance to go, but the place sounds so cool.
Salem
Oh
is
yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't go in October.
Oh God, not that I can anyway, but yes, that's
Yeah.
not the time to go.
No, you don't want to go then. There's weddings. There's just a
Mm-hmm.
throng of people. It's way too much. It's
All the part-time
You can't
goths were there.
So,
Now,
but yeah, it was cool.
Very cool.
are you going to the Mid-Michigan one again?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Lots of good chances for everybody to catch
I'll be
you
there.
do the thing. So I don't know, like when you go to the events, like obviously you do like readings and you're selling your books and that kind of stuff. Like, what's your favorite? I guess what's your favorite part about going to all these different things and seeing everybody?
Oh my gosh, I love to connect and I love to do readings, but I like the evening because then I can actually just talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not on a schedule. We're not on like, all right, you didn't pay me, so I can stand here and I can talk to you for as long as we would like,
Right. More
Not a
organic
fit-
conversation.
Yeah, it's not a 15-minute, like, I'm sorry, but I got 20
I gotta
more
go to the
people.
next person.
So,
Yeah.
I'm pretty
and
sure
I
you can.
love that because I like their feedback and I like what they have to say. Because, that's how you're hearing if you're doing a good job or not. If you're covering what people want to hear and know, and, then, that's the time.
That's the same thing. Like it sounds weird. Same thing at concerts. Like if you hang out long enough, like the bands just come out and hang out, and that can be sometimes better than the actual concert.
Oh yeah.
Where you just get to relate to somebody, and have like learn about their experience or whatever.
Yeah, which is fabulous. I mean, that right there was worth all the money to me.
Very cool.
And plus, then I get to hang out with the TV stars too. So I will ask them questions, and so I'm there to learn from them as well. Like, tell me, what did you think of this, or how did you do that,
or
what
like you
made
guys were both at the same spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
Just cool. Yeah.
Oh, and I did. I read all your books, and they're quite
Oh, thank
interesting
you.
for sure.
Which one's your favorite?
I don't know.
Oh, it's hard to
Like,
choose. I
it's-
like it.
I know. I mean, they're all good. They're all different, like, stories, you know, like the beginning kind of like what she started, you know, and then progressing to, you know, where she's at as a, you know,
I'll have to
now
borrow them
a
in the
sense.
winter when I have time to read.
No, you read them now.
Oh, dang, I got shit to do.
I know. But no, they were good. They were good. Like, she talks about, I believe it was your uncle, right? Who was in the garage because of like a not a painting, but like a family portrait or something of him.
Yeah, it was and I had a woman, I thought she was going to hurt me. I mean, she came at me. She thought I actually had my alive uncle locked in my garage.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh, no, sorry. He's been dead for like 60 years, 70 years, because I've never met him. I mean, you know, my dad, the last time he saw him, he was 18, and he had half his head. He'd fought in World War I in trench warfare in Belgium, and they used mustard gas.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So people from this generation got skin cancer, got sinus cancer, and he was of the belief that God would heal him. He didn't need to go to a doctor. Well, so this cancer ate his head, ate half his brain, and he went insane.
Well, that'll do
So I
it.
get this picture, but this picture's been in my house my entire life, and he was what I felt. I always knew there was something there. I knew there was a little boy in this house, and I'd see him, and he'd dick around and he'd dance by, and he'd be just blah, you know, like an 8-year-old little boy.
Right.
But there was something more, and I could never figure it out until I brought this picture home from my parents' condo. They'd moved from the house, and I have it hanging in the back of my house, and it starts to happen. And stuff's moving, there's noises, I'm hearing growling, I'm dizzy, I can't, it's like, oh, I feel sick. So my son walks in the house and he sees the picture, and I'm excited because it's family. I want to introduce him to his great uncle. And he's like, what the hell is this in the house for? And I'm like, hey, it's family. It's like I'm trying to sell him a used car. I'm just all over this thing. And he's not buying it. He's a medium and he knows better. So, and I didn't see it. So later, after he leaves, I look at this picture, and my grandmother is in this picture, one of my favorite people in the world. She's just there. And then I look at my great uncle, and he has a pulse. He's coming off this canvas of this picture. And I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it now. So I take him off the wall, and I walk him out to the garage, and I stick him on a shelf. And the house calms down. Well, meanwhile, he starts coming through the back of the house. So every day I'm covering the house. I'm using sage spray. I've got black tourmaline against the walls. I'm doing everything. I've got guides. I'm like barricaded this wall. It took me 5 years to get him to go home.
Wow.
5 years. So I said, well, yeah, so I've got my great uncle locked in the garage, and this woman went off on me, and I was like, no, he's dead.
He's dead, it's fine.
And she thinks I've got his body out there now, at this point. Now he's dead, now he's a corpse, and I've got his body. And it was just getting worse. And so, oh my God, it was funny as hell. But yeah, finally I got my dad and his sister, my grandmother, at the top, because I can open white light. It's like a portal, and it'll just take you right out of wherever. For me, it's God light, so it supposedly takes you home.
Right.
That's my belief. So they're looking down this white light, and he's down there, and I have a tennis ball hung on a string, so I know where to back my car into it when to stop. He's batting this thing around, so I'm bobbing and I'm weaving, and I'm trying to get it. Finally, I grab this thing and I rip it off the string and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm done digging with you. I said, it's been 5 years. Get in the damn light and go home. And he's just like, he's backing up. He goes, what happened to my sweet, he called me Susan, which was my aunt. So there's the insanity. He thought I was my aunt, who I look a great deal like. But I'm like, I've never been Susan. I'll never be a Susan, you know. So that was just confusing him more. But so he got in the light. And he went home. But he has come back down and helped protect me from a couple of entities that have come into my house that wanted to do me harm. One was sent by somebody, and the other one just came in. I don't know where it came from. He grabbed them and shot up out of my house.
Oh, hey,
And
you got a bodyguard.
yeah,
Bodyguards.
spiritual bodyguard, exactly. And because I'm on the couch going, oh, this is gonna hurt.
Right.
This one, because this thing was running at me down the hallway and making
shit.
like noises, like slow motion
Yeah.
noises.
Scary.
And he just dropped in, grabbed him, and he was gone. And I'm like, thank you. Yeah. So it was bizarre. He was.
Yeah. Wow.
He was a trip, sweet man, but it took me 5 years to get him the hell out of my garage.
I mean, everybody's had house guests like that. You just can't get them to leave.
Yeah, after 3 days,
My bro, we
it's
just
like,
gotta
you're
go
done.
home.
Yeah, no, I thought that was kind of a funny story too.
Yeah,
like, just
that
reading
is.
about it. 'Cause I think he kind of was like in a couple different of her books too, and it was just like,
Oh,
her just like, oh, he started doing this, and it was like, oh my god,
Oh, he's always up to something, that guy.
right?
well, I'm up in Houghton Lake, and we're investigating. It was a bar, but it used to be a brothel, and it's Ron and Jason's place. And so I'm upstairs, and I'm like, and I've got his portrait, my great uncle's portrait. It's in the back of the car because he was part of my lecture series for that year. So I look out there, and he's got the dome light in my old SUV on. And I whip the window open, and I'm like, if you kill the battery, I charge it. We're on the freeway. I am throwing you out the car window. And the light goes out.
Never mind, I don't want to stay here.
I shut the window and I turn around and there's this guy, one of the guests, standing there, and he's like, oh. I handed him one of my crucifixes. I'm like, here.
There you go, it's fine, it's fine.
That's awesome.
I feel bad for this guy. Like, this started with us at the haunted house. Like, I was like yelling at the ghosts earlier on top of a ladder, and he's on the ground like waiting to hand me a piece of wood, and I'm like, that's fine. This is normal. This is just what we do. We have to yell at the ghosts here every now and then. You got to kick them into line. And he was just like, whoa,
this chick has got
this
some
is, and he's
mental
known me for a
problems.
while, but it's a different exposure when you're in a
Right.
situation like that with somebody, and they're so used to it. Like, for us, it's just everyday shit, and for him, he's like, what the heck?
Right? Well, it was
What's
like,
this lady up to?
It was like last summer when I had, touched that painting, and then I had like all those scratches. You remember?
Yeah.
Yep. And I walked back there, and I was like,
We had a clown painting that was like haunted, and you would hear clown honking.
yup.
And
They didn't like me because I had it here. I got it from work, actually. Long story short, they tried to play, like, I don't know, like who has it next type of thing. So they would set it on somebody else's chair. Well, within like that week or so, might have been almost 2 weeks of them doing it. Like, there had been three members of the sales staff when they had family members pass away. And then they had put it on a chair for one of the ladies. She was on vacation, and find out over the weekend her husband passed away. And so one of the guys, he'd taken it and he'd like thrown it in the dumpster. And I was like, what was that? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, it just can't stay in here. So I sure as hell got out of my office, went to the dumpster and grabbed it. And,
Of course you
and
did.
it was in
Right.
and it was in like a garbage, it's just like a garbage bag, not sealed or anything.
Yeah.
So I never physically touched it. And it sat in my garage for like a year. In my garage, it's like the cement is cracked because like water got under there, and then the ground's changed. So I had it in a corner where there was a crack that literally just kind of did like a U shape in the walls, and I was just like, I don't know if there's anything attached to this, but you are in this corner. You can't go out the walls. You can't go past the like this crack in the pavement. I'm like, this is your home until I try and contact you. And I didn't mean for it to take so long. It was like a year later, and I did it. And I didn't want it anymore. And I just met Kim and Rebecca from the haunted house, And I was like, here, you guys can, take it up there, because they have like a section where they have like, she's got a section where she's got like
I have so many
pictures
haunted
of
objects.
clowns
Yeah.
and whatnot. Well, anyways, it's been there for a few years, and I've never once touched it. All right, and guys I used to work for, they were in shooting a TV commercial with a car dealership. And they were walking through, and I was like, hey guys, you remember this? And all I did was put a tiny little finger tip on it.
Who died?
And nobody died.
Oh, good.
But like we walked a little further, and I've got like nerve issues in my back sometimes, and it just kind of it was like firing up. I'm like, stupid nerves, And like I went to go scratch them, and I just felt like these weird bumps. And so they were, her and Rebecca were in the makeup area, and I was like, I need you guys to look at something. Like, it feels like some bumps. Like, I don't know what's going on. And it was, what was it, like five scratches?
Yeah.
And then there was like one that kind of went across. And so once...
It was like a 5. It was like number 4, like how you make a 5 when you're doing a
oh,
tally.
yeah.
When you do the 4 and then you put the line through to make the 5, like that.
Oh,
That
he
was
was
how
making a
his
point.
scratches were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I waited until they were done shooting and whatnot, and I went to that painting, and I was like, if you try and touch me again and you scratch me again, I'm like, do not think I'm above like taking this picture down and burning
Don't
it.
burn my clown picture.
And I mean, I haven't touched it since, but
Customers touch it all the time. I'm like, whoop.
Right. Well, that's on
You shouldn't
them.
be touching stuff in the haunted house anyway.
Right. That's on them. But yeah, it was just because I've never gotten scratched there. The only thing that's ever happened to me there is when we do spirit boxes and I'll get cussed at. Or they will try to be
They don't like you very much.
they're like, get him, get behind him. And I'm like, good luck.
Yeah.
Because I've got, in my house, I have now 11, but I had, before I knew it, I had 10 spirits that were living here at any given time. And a few of them kind of come and go, but there's like at least 5 of them that would stay. And come to find out, like a few of them was always coming with me, places I went. And so up at the haunted house, we would be doing like a spirit box thing, and they would of course be threatening me or cussing at me, and they're like, get him, get behind him, and I'm like, good luck. And like, you could just kind of put your arms out a little bit, and there's just like this massive cold. Considering this was like in the dead of summer.
It's very hot up there. We don't have air conditioning.
Really warm in the building, and I've got like little air conditioning going around me. And I was like, see, I told you.
It's your friends. Yeah. It's a very interesting building, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then we keep bringing more haunted objects in. Because now, especially if people know we like them and we will take them. And or just stuff seems to find us, I swear. Like haunted stuff finds me. I was talking to John Zaffis about it at the Paracon, and he was like, once you get started, it is this weird thing where the haunted objects just find you. And because you're a good custodian of them, I don't have a problem with any of these haunted objects. People will come into my room at the haunted house and they're like, ew, I hate it in here. I'm perfectly comfortable. And he's like, it's because you're the one that's taking care of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're taking care of you.
Yeah.
In turn. I was going to bring up Zaffis with all this because, yeah, he gets crap all the time.
Yep.
Tim Shaw, they get stuff all the time.
It's crazy.
I sat with him at dinner once, and he said, he goes, once it starts, and it just snowballs. You start to get stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, where do you, so he's still trying to open a museum, but now they just go into storage. And so basically you're a hoarder.
Right.
Basically.
It's like, yes.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I know a guy like that. He's got a bunch of stuff, and he has it in his basement, and a lot of it's boxed up, but he does have like a bunch of it, out and around the room and whatnot. And he'll occasionally have like little videos he'll send me, and he'll be doing like a spirit box session with them or something, and then there's time, I think there was like 1 or 2 videos where he was talking to him or whatever, and you could just see, I think it was a doll or something like that, and it moved a little bit, and I was like, damn.
They do that.
I know, but it was just
They
like,
do.
he's got like all this stuff
I'm
that's interesting.
the doll at the haunted house, so a lot of my haunted objects are dolls.
Aren't they
And
all?
like literally every time I go into my room, there's one that's not in place, and the rest of the crew, first of all, nobody else is there. Because it's just the people during the summer that like want to be there. And so it's like me and Jeff in the dark with like a couple other people. And like you'll go in there and the dolls are in a different spot, and it's like, y'all have just been wilding in here, haven't you? Just up to something at all times, these babies.
Secret. I've been moving them.
No, they've been on the floor. Jeff, don't throw my babies on the floor.
I didn't do that.
I'll get out there and I'll go in, and they would have been on my shelf, and then I'll come in and they're like falling, or they're like looking like they've been crawling somewhere.
Wow.
And I know nobody's been doing it because I'm the only one there. So who else is doing it? The ghosts or the dolls. And like my Teddy Ruxpin.
Me.
It's you, Jeff? Dang it.
Yeah, I know. Sorry to burst your bubble.
Alright, so we've been rambling. What else do we want to talk about?
I don't know.
Did you make yourself a list?
No, I did not,
Oh, okay, cool.
because I've read her books and I know stuff.
Wow.
Unlike you.
I know, right?
So, I mean, I kind of know because I read her books.
Nice job.
But so how did you how did you get into all this? Like what
Yeah.
what was it that you were just all of a sudden like, shit, now I
gotta do this.
like
Yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
things that won't leave me alone.
I mean, it's mid-70s, 1970s. You don't talk about this. Nobody brings it up. Halloween is truly like a one-day thing, and that no other big deal about it. So you could go to the library and you could look a few things up, but there was nothing deep. You just come through the 60s, so you went through the age of Aquarius, so you could talk about astrology, and people didn't think too much of it. You were still a little odd, but not like you would if you'd have said, I see dead people, Me at 12 years old or 10 years old or, however, I'd have been drugged or hospitalized or gone to a psychologist, something, been studied. And so I kept my mouth shut. Because it started slowly. And I mean, I always knew there was something there. Never liked the dark, never. Now I walk around in the dark all the time. I don't have to turn a light on. I know what's there and what's not there, and what's there should be there. So, it has really evolved and changed. But as a kid, I mean, I'd hear noises like the dining room chairs, like somebody had just sat down in one. And I'm the only one home. I'd hear basement lights turn on, and I'd be home alone. I'd hear footsteps coming up the basement stairs. They never made it to the top. There was 13 stairs, 13 beds. And I mean, I knew in my heart. And they'd get to like the 8th one and the noise would stop. We had a walkout basement, so it could very well have been somebody alive, and not dead. So I'd run, I'd lock myself in the bathroom because it was the only room in the house with a lock, and it was just that little ferny thing.
Yeah.
But I felt safe. And I'd grab somebody's bathroom towel and I'd roll it, put it on my head. I had a book and a flashlight taped underneath my mom's makeup drawer.
Wow.
And I'd take those and I'd lay there and read until I would hear somebody come home. My brothers or my mom and dad. And then I'd put everything back, and I'd come out, I'd flush the toilet like I had just been in there and be like, hey, how are you, And then I would journal. And I had these little diaries with the lock and key, and I would write down everything that happened. So everything that happened is in that first book for the first, I don't even know how many years. I didn't tell anybody for like 40 years what happened.
Wow.
I was terrified. I didn't need it to get worse. I was already a fat little kid and an outcast. I didn't need to be worse.
You need to be
a
the
crazy
big
kid
one,
too, you know? But I always knew. I knew when all the girls were having their periods. I knew when, in junior high, the couples that would get together for a week or whatever. I knew when they were fighting. I knew when the teachers had a problem. It was overload, just sensory overload. I didn't know how to block it. Didn't know you could block it, So I journaled, and that got it out of my head and put it on paper, and then I could forget about it. But I meet my husband. We move in together. I've got boxes of these books, all kinds of like hardback journal books, lock and key books, all this kind of weird. And he's like, what the hell are these? And I was like, well, about that. So he proposed to me, and I was like, well, you should probably know the package you're getting with this ring.
What are you signing up for, bud?
Yeah. So I told him everything. And he said, I kind of knew something was up when you would tell me, because we had a house phone. And I would feel, because I'm in the kitchen, and I would feel the power come down the side of the house, and the phone used to be on a table over here.
Yep.
The electricity. I could feel the juice. And I'd be like,
You know when the
Oh.
phone's gonna ring, yeah.
and I was like, phone's gonna ring, and it would ring. And he'd be there, and I'd be, you know, where, and I'd say, well, it's your mother. Eventually, I was like, it's your mother, answer it. He thought it was a parlor trick, and that's exactly what he said. He goes, well, that was a fancy parlor trick, and I'm like,
No.
okay. Yeah, and I didn't know how to approach it. I didn't want to lose him. I didn't want to
Right.
chase him away. I was so in love, you know, as I am still 4 years later. So I told him, I said, this is it. I've told nobody. Here it is for you, because you need to know, you deserve to know, and you're so important to me, you should know. And so yeah, so he was like, okay.
Bye.
That was it.
Like whatever.
I was like-
That's cool.
Okay, so yeah. I mean, yeah, he doesn't see anything. He's heard one thing.
Mhm.
In the middle of the living room, I was on the couch, and there was something there, and he was in the kitchen making dinner, so I was chilling and laid back, and there was this ooh noise. And I sat up. It was in the middle of the air in the living room, and it was female. And he turns around and he goes, what? And I was like,
He heard it. Yes.
he heard his first spirit. And I said, that wasn't me. That came from the middle of the living room. And he's like, no. He's like, no, we don't even want to start this. And I'm like, sorry. I'm like,
I know what
sorry.
you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So he heard that, but nothing really else. I got him on his first ghost investigation last month. I think it was last month. We were down
His
at the
first
Park
ever?
Cafe. First ever.
Wow.
We went down to Winchester, and then we went to, I can't think of the asylum down
You
there.
gotta start somewhere. Start at the Winchester. Wow.
So we go down there, and I'm like, come on, we're gonna go. Because I had an event the next day. I'm like, we've got nothing the night before, let's go. So we go in, and he's like, he's fine. He's following, we're walking around. And then there's like 25 minutes left, and there's only 3 paid people to investigate. So they're like, go ahead, go. And I'm like, sweet. I walk through this door and I take off. Well, the 2 guys that were with us, they're like, well, wait, we'll go with you. I'm like, okay. They're like, are you really going to go alone? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, let's go, you know? So we take off, we're in the basement, and I'm just all of a sudden taking pictures. And I had this greatest picture behind this door, and it's a solid door. There is no light, so there is no shadow, and it would have been a man's shadow. And the guys were out in the hall, and it's just this shadow figure standing behind the door. And I was like, what's up? What do you get up there? Did you work here? He lived there. He was one of the people, because it was more of a senior center than an asylum. And they would go, because they had nowhere else to go, all these old farmers, you know? And they'd just go there, and they'd pay if they could. And if they couldn't, then the state would help cover them. But so I showed the guys the picture after we were done, and we were back upstairs with everybody, and they were just kind of like, oh, okay. I was like, he was just behind the door. It was all good, you know?
Right.
But so I got him on his first investigation, and yeah, so he's my partner, and he will be for the rest of our lives, and it's wonderful. Captured a Wendigo in a stone in Royal Oak, and I had to get it buried. I had to get rid of this thing. So I had it in 2 plastic bags full of sand, white sand. So I take it, and I get in the car. I'm leaving Royal Oak, coming back to Commerce, and I'm just kind of zoned. I'm like on this track to get to the house. And I called him because we had an old Nike base, the old missile base out here, and I said, that's where I'm going to put it. That's because I'm going to give this thing back to Mother Nature. I'm going to let Mother Nature decide what the hell to do with it. And I'm driving out, and I'm on the freeway, and I called him, and he goes, how'd it go? I said, great. I said, so I'm going to need you to meet me at the old Nike base with a shovel in about 20 minutes. He goes, okay, see you then. Click. He hangs up.
Wow.
And I'm like, he doesn't know if I've got a body, if I've...
Like, yeah, you sound fine.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, I married the right man, you know?
Yep.
It's like,
She's got this. Bye.
Like she must have.
He gets out of
had
the car,
reason
he's
to
got
kill
the
this
shovel, he goes, how deep do you want it? And I said, oh, about 5-6 feet. He's like, what? I said, "No, I'm kidding.
Perfect.
I'm kidding, you know? But,
Oh,
so I'm
Lord.
really hoping nobody ever finds this sucker.
Oh, gosh. I hope not.
Yeah, because it's just a harbinger of death is all this thing is. So it's a soul eater, and it likes blood. That's how I got him.
Damn.
But yeah, so yeah, that's how it started, and that's kind of how it's carried through, and it's been a wonderfully crazy, fabulous ride, I'll tell you.
That's
I wouldn't trade it.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy lives
I hear
are, you know, regular lives are kind of boring.
Yeah, 'cause I've only been doing this for 5 years now. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds about right. 5 years. And yeah, at first it was a whole lot of, not a lot, but then yeah, a lot of it ramped up when I bought my house. So many different things have happened,
That's true.
and and I kind of would hear noises, you know, like footsteps here and there, and I'd gotten a, you know, like a kind of a shadow figure, like I saw it like through a curtain I had between my living room and my kitchen to help with like heat and stuff like that. Or no, it would have been AC. Sorry, AC. And like I kept seeing it, I was like, I don't know, maybe it's the TV or something, you know. Like I just wrote it off. And then there was one night I was gonna go to bed, and then this is when I knew for sure as I was walking towards my bedroom. And in my living room, like to my bedroom, there's like a tiny, tiny, tiny little hallway. And standing like in between the bathroom and the spare room, it just like, there was this like black mass right there, and it just stopped me. And I was like,
I'll bet.
I was like, hey, I'm like, I just want to go to bed.
I'm just trying to sleep.
And like, you know, almost like the blink of an eye, it was gone. And I was like, all right, like awesome. And then,
So is there anybody else in the house alive upstairs?
you mean
No,
like
right
no,
now? No.
No.
We're the only ones here.
Okay, because there's like 3 spirits sitting upstairs.
Not
That
surprised.
sounds about right.
Yeah, they're just kind of there. They're casual. They're listening to what you're doing. They're
Yeah.
really interested.
Probably Tom.
They're, you know.
Probably.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
we
we've
have a
got
couple and then another female.
a couple and a female.
Well, there's like 3. Well, I'm trying to think here, because there's
So many of them. And
there's
he had a
7
portal at one
there,
point, too.
there's 7 there's 7 males from my account out of like the 10, and then there was 3 females, and then the 11th one is more of like an entity that apparently decided that he I call him a he, it's just easier. He liked me, and then he just kind of came and started watching over me, watching my back and stuff like that. He didn't have a name, so I was actually able to name him. He didn't like the first name I gave him, and I was like,
Is there a
"Alright,
Larry?
fine." What's that?
Larry?
Is there a Larry?
Not
Not
that
that we know
not that
of.
normally resides here, anyways.
Maybe
Okay.
Larry just came to visit.
No, Larry's dead.
Well, I meant dead visitor.
Yeah. You know, you gotta like be, all right, was he alive or was he dead?
Right.
No,
I'll do-
yeah, no.
I'll do that with my husband. I'll see something and I'll go, all right, do you see a person off to our left? You know, because sometimes you don't know. But I just got the name Larry. And,
Interesting.
But there was a guy upstairs. He looks like he's a farmer. I think
Oh.
she is his wife, and then there's another woman. I don't know who she is. She's not related to them. She's separate.
Oh,
She might be with another one of the men.
Well, it could be one of the people that we didn't know the name of too, because there were some that never told us their
Yeah,
names.
there was. I mean, there might be more, but yeah, there was a
True.
few that didn't tell us their names. But I mean, when we first did a thing here, yeah, we got
a bunch of different names.
a bunch of different names. Like I've got the original owner of the house, Tom. I bought it from his wife, who actually just recently passed away like a week or two ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if she is now here-ish, because he doesn't, he's not gonna leave the house. Like I've asked him, and because his daughter actually messaged me and was like, can you tell can you tell him that mom needs you, and that it's time for you to be together and to move on. And
he's like, no, I'm good.
I'm like, okay. And so I told him, and because I don't know, like it was like, I don't know, I was sad about like him possibly leaving. Like I was kind of like getting really sad, and
well, he likes
like the frog in my throat type of thing. And so I did like a quick like EVP thing, and I was like, hey, if if you're gonna go, like no worries, like I'm gonna watch over the house, like I'm gonna take care of it. I completely understand. I'm like, I'm gonna miss you and this other stuff, and I feel like I was catching some other voices, and I'm like, but if you want to leave, go ahead and leave. I get it,
go be with your family,
go be with your wife, and I was playing it back, and there must have been another spirit, because I couldn't clean it up all the way, but there was something where like he was answering me saying, no, I'm not gonna leave, or he's I'm gonna stay or something. And then later on, because I like restated myself, and because I do that a lot, and there must have been another chime in somewhere, because it sounded like it was one of them saying like it's your time to go, or you need to leave, or
like
something.
one of the other ghosts was like,
and
get
he's
out.
like, and he was just like, no, I'm not leaving. Basically
that
was
sounds
his
like
answer.
Tom. That sounds
But
like Tom.
but I've asked him before, and I mean he likes it here. He's not gonna leave this place. So, and I was like,
he
hey.
likes you. He looks at you like a son.
I was just
Okay.
I was gonna say that too. Yeah. It's like a
Yeah.
father
Do you know
son
what
relationship.
her name was?
His wife's name was Velma.
Ooh, I like it.
So I don't know if she's here. I wouldn't put it past them or anything like that. But
I think it is.
But I mean, I assume because I told him, and I was like, hey, you do you, and he's like, and there was even a response to like, I'll be right back.
He's like a piece of spirit.
So I'm assuming that he left, he did what he needed to do, and then he either helped her along, or most likely I figured he was gonna bring her back here, which is fine.
Yeah, because he
One
was
not
more, right?
not that I can stop him or anything like that, but
no, you can't. And he was with her when she died. So
no.
that's
Was he?
Well, yeah, so saying
okay.
that's what she's saying. He probably went to go with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's where he went. I mean, he did love her.
Right.
But they loved that house. They loved the neighborhood. They loved the area. That was a long time ago. So.
Yeah, I know he likes the house, because I started remodeling a room upstairs, my family room, and that's when I really knew I had stuff going on. Like he'd kind of played a few tricks on me here and there. One involving like a Christmas ornament, one involving him knocking down my box with the Christmas tree in it in my storage room one night, and I didn't know what it was. I even went and looked, and it didn't. I was like, okay, what was that? It was like a week later or something that that my dad was helping me with some electrical, and I had to go hit a breaker, and I was like, what the hell? And I was like, now I know where the noise came from, because I was sleeping in my recliner in what was my computer room at the time, so it was right underneath me, and it was like smack. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, you're funny. Like, you kind of startled me awake. Haha.
He showed me a Christmas tree, but I couldn't figure out what the hell why are you showing me a Christmas tree?
That was his thing. That's how, I mean, that was the next for sure thing, how I knew that I had a visitor or a housemate, but I didn't 100% know it was him, but I always assumed. I'm like, who else would it be?
Right,
like,
that makes sense.
Who else would it be? But then finding out that I had, more was actually really weird, but it made sense because I would hear, like random like footsteps or, just like a little noise here and there. And then it was like once we made contact, then it was just like more like activity, like I could sense more. But there was definitely some weird stuff going on when I was redoing my family room upstairs. At the time I had a couple of those echo devices, and I had one out here or up there so I could listen to music when I was painting. And one night I was in my living room watching TV, and all of a sudden I'm hearing like someone talking. I'm like, what is going on? Like, where is this coming from? So I walk into my kitchen and I'm hearing it louder, and I walk into the family room, and it was like she was asked a question and she didn't know how to answer it. So, it was like giving that response, like, whatever it was. And then the next day, again, I was watching TV, and I bought one for my room for white noise so I could sleep because I've got ringing in my ears. And next thing I know, I'm hearing talking again. I'm like, what the hell? So I get up and go in there, and same thing, like she's giving her response of not knowing, the answer or understanding the question or whatever. And I'm like, I know it's not my TV doing it because that one was super far away. And I mean, I have surround sound, like always, no matter what I watch. But when you get to a certain point, like the kitchen towards the family room here, you can't really hear anything at all. And so I knew that one didn't do it. And I had the main one sitting right by the TV in a sense. And that thing never went off either time. I was like, okay. I'm like, all right, you guys are getting me, you're getting me.
We're not alone.
Yep, and that's what it was. So then when I went to redo my basement, because I've always talked about it, and I was always talking about it out loud so they knew, and it's mostly kind of to them. So when it came time to just do it, because I had water issues down here from coming in through the foundation and stuff, I was like, all right, so we all know I have to do this because of the water. I got to find this out because it was a lot of wood paneling down here. It was 2 bedrooms.
It was, yeah.
And
it was like a 70s basement.
You could see the wood paneling had been like, like water soaked, water damaged. Like you could see a little mold and stuff too. I was never down here. But yeah, so I was like, we all know I got to do this. I'm like, but I'm not putting it back the way it was. And so I kind of was like going through, and I was like, and I had my dowsing rods at the time, and I was like, okay, I'm like, this is a consensus answer. I'm like, but you guys are good. I'm like, I'm probably still doing it anyways.
I have to do it either way.
But you guys are good with the basement and stuff, and it was just like, yes. And I'm like, all right, you guys understand, and it's gonna change so I can use it. It was like, yes. I'm like, all right. But one of the guys that when we were doing a spirit box thing, he likes to hang out in the basement. His name's Joel, and
shout out to Joel.
And so he's always down here, and so periodically while I was working,
Joel
I was
is
like,
not alive.
No, he's not alive.
So we have to say.
And so periodically, like I'd get him out, and I would just be asking him. I'm like, so is it looking okay to you? Like you're still cool with this? Because I'm gonna have this as my office studio. We're gonna be like the closest friends in the world. And like every time he was just like, yes, he didn't mind it. And he actually, it's funny, I cannot see him. I don't see any of them here. But I've had like Kim say it, and a couple other people when they've been down here and we're doing this, they're like, do you see that guy back there? And I was like,
Joel likes to hang out behind the computer.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's just Joel. He's just checking us out. He's just, maybe making sure everything's running smooth.
He's checking it,
Just making sure that I'm not being harmed, maybe. Who knows?
He learned how to do all the things from you, and he's checking on the technology.
I hope so. That'd be great.
Speaking of technology, if you're watching through technology and you have questions, don't be shy about asking him, even if you feel like it's a dumb question or Exie's been asked it 500 times before. She's used to it, I'm sure. So please, you guys are watching this not just to watch us talk to her, it's for you guys as well. So make sure you're If you have questions,
And
please.
especially if you've met her or like you've read her books.
Oh
or
yeah, and
something
if you've
like
met her, like chime in and let us know how it was, or even just say hi because Jeff does have cool buttons for some people.
I do.
Aw,
get-
yeah,
we
to
get
be
the-
like, she's a bitch. Yeah,
Oh!
you know? Yeah.
We won't read that one
I would
to
hope
you.
not, but no, I've
We
literally
wouldn't
never.
read that one to you.
Everybody I've ever
So-
met that says that, man, you said you were super nice. So I've never heard anything bad.
You were talking about the dowsing rods, and I finally got myself a set. My father-in-law used them always to find water. I mean, always on the property. That was where they dug their wells, and I mean, since the 40s, 30s, 40s. But I was, where the heck were we? We were somewhere in Michigan, like kind of up in the thumb, and we were in a house, and I borrowed somebody's dowsing rods, and they wouldn't work for me. And the woman said, she goes, well, that's because they're mine. She goes, they can get used to you, but then she goes, I'm going to have to retrain them to get used to me. So she said, the best thing is get your own set. I was like, oh, I think it's kind of like pendulums, the same premise for a pendulum. I was gifted a couple, and the two were inseparable. I was going to give one to a friend. I didn't need, 3 or 4. So it was very kind, but I felt like this one needed to go somewhere else. It was for somebody else. And no, I still have them. They're hanging on a board, and they should hang straight down, and they lean in, and they have to touch. Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
They
So
have
when
to
you
touch.
got your regular pair of your own, were you able to use them then?
They're here, yeah, and I can use them. I can use the dowsing rods, but I had to train them. I had to, I had to walk in a circle with them. It's kind of like setting a compass.
No, see,
You know,
I
you
didn't
have
think
to-
do that.
I had to navigate them, and I had to teach
Maybe
them
that's
what
why
was
your
north,
dowsing rods
what was.
hate me.
Maybe.
Yeah,
When I get them, they always,
Yeah, they just try and hit her. It's funny.
they just spit.
It's hilarious.
Swing it.
No,
Yeah.
they do. Right here. Girl, down. I'm going to touch
Oh,
them.
here she goes.
There you go.
Here she goes. Like, you didn't even straighten them out first.
Nope.
Like that's all they do. Like no matter what she does,
Yeah.
they just swing around and try and hit her. They'll smack,
that's
like depending on
so-
how her
Yeah,
arms
that's
are,
all they
they'll
do.
smack her in the face.
Oh, there it goes.
Or maybe
Yeah.
they'll try and
What happens if you
Poke 'em.
hold them a little farther apart?
she's,
There we go. It's like a sprinkler.
yeah,
Doesn't
Oh,
matter
they're
what I
going
do.
faster now.
yeah. And she's gotten them to work. Well, not this pair because this is brand new, but the other ones that I have, she got them to work like once.
Yeah.
They just go. It doesn't matter what I do. They just go around circles.
Yeah, and then
Woo! They're one that
and then I'll have it, I'll set it, and then
I get it, Tom.
Oh.
it's like point towards the camera.
Oh nope. Look, I even got my
now
elbow on
it's
the
pointing
chair.
towards
Is
my
it gonna
storage
work?
room.
Oh no. So,
What's towards my storage room? Is Joel towards my storage room?
hello
I know
again,
you
Jason.
can't really
Jesus
answer,
Christ.
but you can swing to my right if it's Joel you're pointing at.
So whatever is off this way, there is a male standing there.
Probably Joel.
Behind you, over there, or behind us.
No, he's here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's Joel.
Probably Joel.
Yeah.
But he
He's
can't
because
he
you have
can't-
your back basically to the computer and all that where
Yeah.
he stands.
Yup.
Okay.
yup,
If you
he
were
just
here, that
answered.
would be
It's-
where your back would be.
Yep, he just answered,
I
so
know.
it's Joel.
That's my parlor trick, and it doesn't matter what I do. They never work for me. It's
That is
okay.
funny as hell.
Yup.
It's good for a laugh at least. If there's nothing going on,
It's pretty hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
But that's what was happening to me, and this girl said it's because they're not yours. She goes, when you find your pair, they'll work for you.
Oh well, I guess I'll have to keep trying. When they finally work for me, I'll be like, "That's it. Those are the ones."
Yeah, I have 64 pairs. I finally found one.
But yeah, so
I don't know. It's interesting.
it's funny.
I guess at least it's not just me.
Alright, I'm gonna put this down now, buddy. So
Yeah,
you know.
not at all.
Because I was like, people keep telling me, "Oh, you're just,
It's
it's
cold.
you. You're doing something." I'm not doing it. I'm just sitting here, and I put
You
my
can't-
elbow on.
Yeah, you can't make them
You can't, not like that. No.
If you're like really whipping around,
Yeah,
sure.
your hands are still.
Yeah. Now, when you've used them, have you ever felt like when you're done, like the tips of them at all?
Like if they're
No,
cold.
but I should, because mine have plastic covers on them
Oh, okay.
from the gal that made them for me,
Mhm.
because they're all bedazzled. They're really cute.
Of course.
Right.
They're a girly thing. They're pink and they're adorable.
Wow, fancy.
But yeah, so she did it for shipping, I know, but I've just left it on there because I know myself, I'll stab somebody. I don't mean to, you know, be like, oh God, sorry, you know, yeah. You think a scratch is bad, try a puncture wound, you know.
Oh, we have a question
Nope,
from
nope.
the group, but she redacted it. I'm going to ask it anyway. This person, the message got redirected. I don't know if it was by them or by YouTube. But they said they just moved into a new property. How can they tell if there are spirits and if they have good or ill intentions? Like, is there anything that you can recommend? How to tell?
Well, they're going to make themselves known if they're there, first of all, you know, whether they want you there or not. But if you quiet yourself, you know, I mean, for me, and it's so funny, I go quiet myself and I always look that way because it's kind of like my thing. But just find a spot and just stand there and let the house talk to you. Because you'll hear stuff. Any house I've ever lived in, I know exactly where noises come from, when they should be there and when they shouldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Just always. So same thing here. If you're hearing footsteps and nobody's moving, you got company. If something's moving, if doors are moving, or if you're hearing voices, or you just feel something there, it feels off, there's something there. So cleanse it, use some sage. You can either burn it or you can buy it and make your own and make the liquid. I tell people, put on a pot of water, boil it, get it hot, dissolve salt into it, and as it's cooling, stick your white sage into it like you're making a tea solution. Take that out. You can put crystals into your spray container of whatever you want. If you want energy or you want protection, you know, you make that decision and then use that spray. Because some people can't do smoke. Their detectors are hardwired for whatever reason, or they can't inhale it, older people. So, do that and just spritz it like you would Lysol, basically, and go through, get behind doors, get under beds, get in closets. Always the back of a closet too, please, through the wall. Because it's such a great spot for portals. Straight ahead of a toilet in that wall. Because people will sit there and they concentrate on their third eye.
That makes sense.
And there's, I can't tell you how many portals and bathrooms in that wall straight ahead of the toilet. Which just, there's lots of jokes from that.
I'm sure.
So,
sometimes you gotta get shit out. You put it in the wrong spot.
Right, all right.
you know, go do all of it. Get under the stairs. If you can get into the attic, spray in the attic. Do everywhere you can. I recommend also don't just do white sage, do cedar and sweetgrass. Put that into your liquid or burn it. Because the sage will remove, the sweetgrass and the cedar fill back in with goodness and light. So it's like you take an antibiotic, you now have a void in your system, so you pick your bacteria by eating a good yogurt. So you've made the choice of the bacteria that's coming back into your body. Same with this. You've voided the house of anything with white sage. So are you going to let them fill it, or are you going to fill it? So I always burn cedar or sweetgrass, and that just brings in its goodness and light, and it makes such a difference. It looks like somebody cleaned the windows or turned lights on, and the feeling is just, I did a house on Saturday with my nephew, and it felt like the house went back onto the foundation.
Wow.
It's always such a neat, grounded feeling. So yeah, and if they have any questions, shoot me a note. I'm happy to guide you through the process. If I can't get there, I can be there long distance. I can go anywhere in the world from my head
Right.
and help you. So I can either bring in white light and help you cleanse at the same time. So, then we can talk about other things. If you think you need to go deeper, you can talk about holy waters or olive oil. It's of Mother Earth. She's massively strong, so you can use that. Black tourmaline oil, and I do the sign of the cross, but I have a girlfriend that works with me. She's Jewish. She does, pentagram. It's a pentagram. It's the Star of David. I know everybody up there went, oh, there, you don't want to say that. All the spirits just went, oh.
Here or with you?
Yeah, here.
Oh, okay.
My house.
All right.
No,
I was
Her
just
spirits
checking.
are like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, I was just checking
Yeah,
because she was
all the
talking about people
ancestors, the
upstairs
Jewish
too.
ones went, wait a minute, no, it's not. Yeah. But yeah, so you can do what works for you, and I can help you finite it for you, and make, and then too, once you do that, take an Epsom salts bath or an Epsom salts shower. So dissolve Epsom salts either in the bathtub or in a cup and dump it over you and get it everywhere. Because if you've got spirits in the house, you might have an attachment. So after you guys investigate, Epsom salt showers or baths are a great idea. I tell firefighters and EMT, hospital workers, because if people die, they attach sometimes. And I can't tell you how many EMTs I work with because they've got crap on their back or, stuck to their body and just making them sick. Mm-hmm. So I have them do that in conjunction, so then you're starting from a clean slate.
I've never thought about that before, like Epsom salt and stuff like that.
Stacy, I don't know if you missed the first part, but she said in order to just know, you just kind of go chill in a spot. She said, what if you don't want them to leave? You just want them to know. But like you said, you just kind of go vibe in the space and see what comes to you.
If they're fine, they could be your relative. It could be your grandma. No, they don't need to go. But it could be, a Helen or a Karen, get off my lawn kind of
right?
bullshit, So who needs a Karen? So you want them to go.
Right.
But you'll know. So just get into the quiet and get into the house and hear. You have to hear what you don't know you're not hearing until you hear it.
That's true.
And you're like, yeah, gotcha.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I just got goosebumps. I'm like, yeah.
Very cool.
So, yeah. But if they need help, they can get a hold of me.
There you go. Very cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully that
happy to
helps, Cece. I hope your spirits are all friendly at your new house.
Yeah, they're as cool as mine.
Yeah. I think all ghosts are cool, even the scary ones.
Right? Well, you don't want to live with scary ones, so I'm just saying.
I've done it before.
I know, I have to, unfortunately. I have to kick their ass out of here.
So in order to block a pushy spirit, would you do the same thing? Like just be like, get the fuck out and use all your magic sprays and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get them out and you tell them, get out. You're not kind about this.
You gotta have your conviction to it.
It's not like when your homie comes to visit and you're like, dude, you're eating all my eggs. You have to go home. It's like like you would to anybody that comes in your house and tries to start shit. You tell them to get the fuck out.
Yep. Yeah, and you mean it, and you're sincere, and you're not like, oh, it'd be really nice if you'd go.
Right. Yeah.
They just turn around and laugh at you, and they make themselves comfortable on your couch and eat your Cheetos. It's like.
Right.
Yup, I've had to do that a couple of times myself.
You're gonna be like, here's your walking papers, get out.
Yeah, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And you can tell them where they need to go. You need to go home, or you need to, because the worst thing is if you've kicked out something that's kind of nasty and it goes next door.
That's fair.
You're like, oh, my bad. Sorry, but.
That's to the neighbors. Sorry about that. Your neighbor's like all of a sudden like dealing with all kinds of bullcrap.
You're like, I gotta move, like something's going on. I'm like, shit, I'm so sorry.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, the for sale sign goes up next door. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I had to do that. It took me about a week to do one. I'm like, this is too long, man.
I gotta go.
Like I've told you numerous times. Like I'm not even being nice about it, but I'm just tired of yelling at you. and
obviously not listening. So right. now you gotta go.
Yep, and I'm just like, all right, guys. I'm like, let's use all of our energy and whatever it is to get this thing out of our fucking house, and this is and it's like, and once you're out, Like you're not, no windows, no doors, no walls, no chimneys,
You're not welcome
no,
back.
no
Well, that's
whatever you think you're gonna be able to use to get back in, like you're not allowed to do it. So
so I put up walls, and so then that's another thing this person can do. Excuse me. They can imagine that they've knocked this stuff out of the house and it's gone. So then you put up a wall.
mhm.
And make it whatever you need it to be, brick, steel, wood. I do that when I do conventions, so
Yeah.
I'm not absorbing everything from everybody.
Right,
Mhm.
yeah.
I put up steel walls around me, and I leave an opening about this big for my clients to come through. And then I kind of seal it, and then I read them and I tune out what's there. There could be 1,000 people there, and I don't know it. I just know this person. So it's, so that's that kind of thing, and you have to do that. And, there again, if they can, I can throw it up for them. But I do it to go to the grocery store.
You gotta do
It's
that.
like, why are you so damn crabby in a grocery store?
There's
Right.
too many people in a bad
Right.
mood there.
Yeah, it's like, really? I just want my lettuce. Just let me
I just want to make a salad.
Yeah, just let me in. And so I either drape a sheet over me with an imagery, or some days I'm there, because then the sheet holds out just a little crap,
Mhm.
like the kind of angst that comes at you. But some days, man, it's like, I got there late and I need steel walls.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, don't make me put up the barbed wire, because I will use it on you. So yeah,
Right.
and it's,
Must be
yeah.
what I have around me.
But
Barbed wire.
Yeah.
I'm an empath, so you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
No, like everybody, because I know a few different people that are, like a medium, like a psychic type, and they're just like your walls are up. I'm like, I know,
Yeah.
I know, and they're like, well, no, you need to lower your guard. I'm like, no, I don't.
That's you, bud.
I'm good.
You know that bubble around the TARDIS?
I know,
That's you, bud.
I know, and,
That's right.
and I'm not
That's where I learned to bubble. Right
From
there,
Doctor
Doctor Who.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Jeff's
Jan.
bathroom is a TARDIS.
It is.
Oh,
It is. It is. It's almost done.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is.
oh, that is cool.
Yeah, we love Doctor Who. We're a couple of
Yeah.
nerds.
But no, like, it's not like I even tried to do it. It's just
That's just
I'm
his
just
natural
I'm just
state.
guarded in general. So I
Yeah.
mean,
That's
minus
just
the couple of times I've been scratched. I mean, I've been scratched more than, at least like a handful of times. But I mean, that's it. And then it's like, well, now you've done pissed me off.
Right.
Yeah, and now you're in trouble.
Right?
Big
And yeah.
And one
But
time,
I've been scratched a couple of times, but I end up getting, it's almost a triangle. It's like a dot on top and 2 dots on the bottom. And I had it on this hip from an investigation, and then when I went to Eloise, my left calf, same thing, same size,
Wow.
wow.
and it looks like just smaller than cigarette burns,
Oh
Interesting.
wow.
and they hurt like hell. They just
Oh, I
sting.
bet.
Oh,
Like,
ouch.
oh shit! And that was through jeans, high socks, and leather boots.
Wow.
I've only had 2 that I've like really felt. One was the one that I was telling you about here, and the other one I had been on an investigation, and it had been a couple of days, and I don't know, something must not have liked me and followed me back really quick. But I was home from work on lunch. I just finished eating, put my dishes in my sink or dishwasher, and I just went to lean on like my armrest of my couch, and all of a sudden I shot up, and I'm like, what the hell? Because it was just like searing pain. And I darted into the bathroom, and I pulled my arm out of my long sleeve, and I'm looking, and it was literally, it was like a whole hand like had gone up my arm. It was over here,
man.
but it wasn't like, it was like I was doing this. It was literally, or like this. It was literally like I would have had to turn my hand awkward to do it. Not that I
Yeah.
did it, but it hurt for like 2 days, and it had drawn blood too.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's something I was like, all right. I'm like, well, now you're out of here.
Yeah.
But
No,
it was gone.
that was
Like
in-
it was like it was there waiting for its moment. Did it, and then it decided to go.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my god, because I went back to work, and I'm like, Normally, like, I had my arm or something on the desk as I was doing whatever, and I couldn't because it hurt so much. And so I'm just like, you know, trying to baby it in a sense because I had to. Except it was this arm, so it's my dominant arm, and it was kind of hard to not rest it on stuff because of you know, using a mouse and, you know, and this and that. So, but yeah, and then there's only been one time, I think it was when we were at the factory, and I'm all layered up because it's basically winter. And so I've got like a t-shirt, you know, a long sleeve shirt, and then I have like a hoodie on, and then I had my winter coat. And we were just standing like close to each other and trying to figure out like where we want to go. And all of a sudden, I'm just like, ow, you know, I'm like, what the hell? And Kim's looking like, what? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I've just got this like pain in my arm. So here I am unzipping my coat and throwing my arm out of it and taking my arm out of the hoodie and a long sleeve. And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, yeah, you got a scratch like right here. And it was just one, but it was through all the layers so again, layered like you up. Said. And we weren't even buying anything that we could have like bumped into, you know, like we were in like the actual part where they would put customers, so it's very safe in there from hurting yourself. Yeah, you know, purposely, because customers rub up against and touch everything. So you can have sharp objects in a haunted house. What did man scratch on? But we weren't anywhere, and plus, it's not like you've seen anything through the coat, and it would have to be. There was no cut on the coat. Yeah, you would have had to penetrate the coat. So yeah, I was just like, all right, we're not doing that again. I'll say hi, Shiloh and Donna. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, if you have questions, feel free to ask them anytime. And anybody else that's listening or watching or however you kids talk about it these days. Right, I know. For too mostly access. Too much social media. No, I love it all. No. Yeah, I don't know. We went off on a. We did on a like weird thing. So I guess I would say like so when you all the places that you've gone. If you had to pick one that you would be like super duper excited to go back to, not necessarily your favorite. I know it's hard to pick, but like if somebody was like, "We're going back here tomorrow," you'd be like, "Woo!"
Ashmore was cool, but really, right now, for me, Eloise was.
I've been there as the haunted house, but I haven't been to any spooky stuff there.
We went. It was with Todd Bonner. It was so when that whole group was there, DPX, I guess. When they were there and they were first in there, and they invited me. They're like, "Come on, we're gonna do a night for like other people that run events and stuff." And they're like, "Come on." So I was like, "Sweet." So I drove down there and pulled up, and it was just it loomed. I mean, it just loomed, and I know there was something in every window. Literally. And, you know, and I'm there, and I'm like, oh, that's right, no power, because they have a generator running for certain areas just for you to get in, you know. And and it was so intense. I got jumped by a spirit. This poor woman, her husband was putting her in there because he was done with her.
Oh Lord,
she was.
Oh wow.
Well, they could do that back then too.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't going to divorce her because he was Catholic. So he was like, no, but I can do this with her. She was young and she was sweet, and he was just old and bad and nasty. And so she jumps in me, and for I don't even know how long. All I can do is go, no, 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 no. So they backed me out of this room, and I'm like, yeah. Okay then. So I'm like, what the hell was that? So we go back in there because it's in a part in the very front where it was post office, and it was check-in for Eloise, and the doctor, the head guy, who was a real dick, was standing behind me, who I knew people paid him for better treatment for their patients, and he was screwing on the nurses, and he was like, wow, you will submit to me or you're gone, or it's just going to be hell here for you. So I got him behind me, so then I step back in, and everything's okay, and I see shadow play, and there's these 3 things that charge at us out of the basement, big, massive, like linebacker, kind of coming up the stairs, and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to stand here and see what happens. Right. And two people on either side of me step aside, and I'm like, sweet, okay, great. You know, you're the one that stepped forward. And nothing happened. It was like they became just black smoke at the top of the stairs. So it was like they weren't allowed to be there. They were maintenance. They were supposed to be downstairs. So then we turn around and we're going to go in and investigate. And the minute I hit the doors that goes from basically public to the private, where just the patients were and the workers, I slumped. And I felt like something grabbed me under my armpits. And they had drugged this woman. They gave her something to drink in that office, and they drugged her. So it's me now, and they're just dragging me, and I'm walking forward. And it's like I weigh 1,000 pounds. I can barely move. And in my head, all I'm hearing now is just this dull, no.
Yeah, Ron's
no.
still here. Here's the button.
You know? It was like so sad. It was just awful. So then I just kind of I was wandering around the place by myself. I thought I'd seen the worst till I got to this one room, and there was this patient, and his tongue had been cut out, and he was thrown up against the wall, and there was another inmate, patient, on his knees, just going at him, at his male parts, and I'm just like, so I'm going to leave you two alone.
I'm going to go over here and let you guys have some privacy.
So it was the most rough things that I'd seen, and we went into this one room. There was a bathtub in the middle of the room, and it was for the patients, but it was a liaison spot, and it was for the doctor, and he would tell people to meet him there. So he had affairs, and he conducted them in this room. But it was just, for me, it was the most raunchy side I'd ever seen in anything, and it was pretty fascinating. There was elementals in the basement. They were really bizarre. They were very metallic, silvery, shiny, long tubes, and they were just there, and which would make sense. They absorbed so much in this place, the damage and the angst and the pain and the insanity, and so they had just formed in these huge long tubes. Part of the ceiling had fallen, and they were in there.
Oh wow!
And I looked up, and I'm like, wow, those aren't human. That's when I learned what those were. I had never run into those, and it was fascinating. The one cook had a thing for one of our people we were investigating with. He loved her hair. And the one nurse who had a thing for the cook, because I called him chef, and he goes, I'm a cook. I'm like, all right then.
All right then.
So yeah, I was like, well, there's definitely a fine line there. And so he comes over, and he's all about her hair. So this nurse comes over, and she's calling her a bitch, and I'm dying. I'm laughing so hard. And the girl I've known her for a long time, she looks at me and she goes, she's calling me a bitch, isn't she? I am dying. I'm like, you nailed it. You got it.
Right.
So I said, she has a boyfriend. She didn't, but we were like, I need to settle this situation. She's taken. So the nurse is like, well, good. She kind of floats away, and the cook's like, I got to make food. So it was just very active, very interesting. That's where I got nailed. Because we're in a hallway, and they're doing some investigation, and they've got like the infrared camera out, and they're down there. Meanwhile, I know there's something here, and it wants to hurt us. Because there's four mediums. There's four mediums, and then one of the investigator guys. And it's so much power, and there's so much energy between the four of us that we were like a beacon. So I just kind of stayed here, and I'm holding this guy off who doesn't like women. His mother is in this place with him.
Wow. And
she's a nutbag. She's just bad. And she hates men. So
wow, what a pair.
Yeah, so she kind of brutalized and beat him up because he was a boy. And so I think she did other weird things with him too. So he's there. So then I'm feeling something coming around the corner. Because we're about 20 feet in, and there's a corner. And I'm like, there's something coming. And it's diverting my attention. So it's a wall walker. It's a wall crawler.
Ooh.
and she just goes, boop.
Spooky.
Her head turns like her neck is broken. Her hair, which is down, she turns and looks at me through the hair. I am so diverted. All I can see is her. This thing I've been blocking nails my leg, and that's when I get that triangle thing through the boots, through the pants. And so they worked together.
Yeah.
So I look back up and she's gone. And he's laughing and he disappears. So he's hurt me, which is his goal.
Right.
And yeah, so it was just kind of like, and it drained me. Like, I was done. I was done. It was probably 1 a.m. anyway, so I was kind of getting there to be done anyway. And because I still had to drive home by myself, which I hate in the dark. So, you know, I'm okay. I just don't see well anymore, I guess, in the dark. But I'm pissed and I'm tired and I want to investigate more. So finally I look at these guys and I'm like, I gotta go. I can't. I'm done. I said, I got nailed. And so I pulled my pant leg up, showed them, and just like, so the one guy, the investigator, he goes, exact same thing happened to me, exact same place, and it looked exactly the same.
Wow.
So I got my verification on it. Took some heat from a few people online because I took a picture of it. And they were like, oh, bullshit. That's not, you know, and I'm like,
They can believe it or not, I guess, you know.
Yep. It's, you know, I've never lied to you. I'm not going to start now.
I always try to find like other explanations, but then after that, because like we work in a haunted building, so a lot of our actors will automatically attribute any cut, scratch, bruise, handprint, whatever to the ghosts. And I'll always be like, well, you know, what else could it be? You are working in a room that has all these trees, you know, like.
Yeah.
But usually if somebody's really adamant, you just kind of have to believe them, you know, like because it's their experience, not yours.
Right.
Yeah, but
that's
in their
what I
case,
said. And I had him to verify it, you know, and so I was like, cool. And I had not bumped my leg.
Right.
I had,
you run through all this stuff in your mind, like, nope, I'm good.
because I debunk before I believe.
Absolutely. And I think everybody
Always.
should, and anybody that tells you otherwise is a silly. Because, like, you know, anything can happen.
Yeah.
I ran it through my head for 2 days.
We've been there.
Every step I took in that place, trying to think, because you're in pitch dark stairwells with a, you know, little flashlight, and but there's nothing in there to bump yourself.
Absolutely.
There was really hardly any furniture. There's, you know, so that was cool. I don't have to go back there because I want to keep moving. I want to move on and go to
different places.
You know, yeah.
Well, even just going there, the haunted attraction, you could feel, because they've opened up a haunted attraction inside of Eloise now. Even just going there as customers, when Anna, you said the same, like a bunch of us said the same thing, like you could kind of feel like.
I couldn't go to Eloise.
Well, no, but you heard from it, one of the people in the crew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, like
This year, though.
those of us that went, we talked to Jeff too, you know, they couldn't go. I went. Well, Jeff doesn't really go to haunted houses.
I refuse to go.
You could even feel there, like, that there was stuff, and then they turned the basement into, like, aliens. So it's kind of interesting that there's the elementals in the basement, because there was a couple things in there that I was like, is that haunted house or is that haunted house?
Right. Well,
Like, which is it? Is it ghosts or is it actors? Because it was sometimes in certain spots hard to tell the difference for people that are a little more sensitive, I think. Like, and it was a very interesting experience. I think some of the ghosts were okay with it, and some of them weren't, you know.
Well,
I think he talked to you about it right after we went.
Yeah.
But I mean, the basement, from what I've told, is like the most active area.
Yeah. That's all aliens. Not to spoil Eloise for anybody. I'm not saying don't
them
go.
turning into a haunted house. It was like...
And that is bizarre, because there was a maintenance guy there, and he stood way off in the corner, way far out. We were at one entrance to the kitchen, and he was at the farthest one. And he just stood there, and he was so proud that he had this job.
Yeah.
And he loved it, and it was, he'd done the best in his family, and, you know, high school graduate, which that was the most degree to anybody in his family. And he was just talking to me. He was so proud. He was really tall. I mean, it's 6'8".
Wow.
And so, you know, there's this shadow, and so I'm looking for a hat. I'm looking for,
Like,
you know, I'm like, are you a hat man? What do we got going on here?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Are you, what do you know? Like, all right, but nothing. He was maintenance, in-store maintenance.
Right.
So I talked to him for a bit, but those elementals, they had like the alien eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's wild that you said
That's
that.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was like down there and I was like, there was a couple times walking through that I was like, ghost or actor? I'm really not sure which good for them, because that is a good haunted house and all that stuff. But I thought that was really interesting when you said the basement. I was like, I feel like I've seen some of those things that she was talking about. Now I will grant, like, everybody that's ever been there, you know, Eloise is bigger. Maybe they didn't do the whole basement. I don't know. I'm not part of the planning there. But it was kind of interesting that it kind of correlated. And then the tub room, they have, I don't know if they have the same room or they just replicated it and you walk through it. And that room made me very uncomfortable when I was in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like it in here. We GTG, y'all. Like, we're walking extra fast during this. Because I just felt like someone was there that was going to throw me in the bathtub and do stuff to me. And not in like a cool haunted house way. So either they did very well at making the sets intimidating, or the ghosts, or both.
Okay.
So yeah, it was kind of interesting when she was talking about those different stuff.
It was cool. It was several years ago now.
Right.
But...
Well, it's only been the haunted house for I think 2 years now, so it was more. That was when they were doing more of the paranormal, which they still do, you know. So not turning this into a commercial for Eloise, but hey, it was definitely an interesting experience for sure.
I mean, because if you want just good straight up, you go to Old Mill, or you go to, you know, and it's not huge, but you're guaranteed.
Or you try to go somewhere that like not a lot of people have investigated. Like Jeff and I have been lucky enough to go to a couple places. Like a friend of ours owns a really old corset factory, and we're some of the only people that have investigated it.
Yeah.
And going into like a fresh, like abandoned building that they have just started revamping. It was really interesting. We heard all kinds of crazy shit, like that old-timey music and just stuff that we've never
and when we did that workshop thing with the Ouija board, I mean, that was a pain in the ass, but because I had to go there, I had to take my computer, I had to take a monitor, I had my camera, you know, like my webcam, and I had to take everything with me, and I had to run an extension cord to make sure I had power. And then I think I'm using my phone as a hotspot.
It was a mess. And then all the ghosts were like, let us mess with the internet. Because they're like, new people. Nobody's ever done this before. And they're like, let's mess with these fools.
Yeah.
Oh, Terry's on too. Hi, Terry.
What's up?
Don't forget, guys, if you have questions, don't let us gab on all night. Like, we will. But ask us questions, because we have... How long do we have? How long are we even on?
7:40.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Is there anything, actually, you really, really, really wanted to talk about and get out there in the world?
Oh, gosh. Well, like what I'm doing, or just events?
Go for it.
Whatever.
Anything.
Well, Paracon in the Soup is coming up. That's August 25th, through the 27th. I have a gallery the Friday night, and I think there were 7 tickets left last week. So,
only 7? Wow. Better get in
I
there,
don't
guys.
know what. I don't know now, but if you're going and you want to attend that, get your ticket, because it traditionally sells out. Thank you very much. So yeah, do that. I'll be in Clare at the Festival of Oddities September 3rd, which is so much fun. It's just, the vendors are incredible. It's a sweet town. I will do a gallery there as well, so you can get tickets. I think still there are fine. We had Candace Isaacson and I, we sold out Willis House down in Willis, Michigan.
Oh, I was just going to ask you if you'd been there.
We went there, that was fun.
Yeah, so we're going to be there October 1st. We're going to do an event, small scale, nice thing, ghost hunt. And then I'll be in Dearborn October 8th, the Historical Museum, with Adam and Brian and
all
Rebecca.
those guys.
Yeah, so we're going to be there and investigate. That's always fun. That really is a fun place. If you want to come and just have some nice investigation time, come and do that. And then I've got a couple things. I've still got contracts pending, and then I'll be at Old Mill in November, the 13th.
Very
Okay.
cool. I'm gonna try to make that one. The other ones are during haunt season.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, a lot of the good
They're-
events are when I have other stuff.
Yeah,
spooky
they're
things.
tied up.
Yeah.
I'm not working this year.
Wow, Jack's flying. Okay, so my friend Terry, who is watching, she's met you before. She wants to know if you can tell who is playing with her hair at her house through the computer.
Well, she's got two things happening there. Is she a redhead?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
That's just got weird.
So I'm seeing her. so it's
Sometimes,
male.
yeah, she's. I should say.
Yeah, it's a male, and it's right behind her.
Probably. Can you tell like who he is or how he's related to them at all?
He's older. Older. Probably died in his early 70s. So I don't know if he's related to her. Kind of thin, dark hair. Might have been slicked back. I don't know if he worked with his hands, like mechanic. But he looks like he works with his hands. He's either farming or mechanic or construction of some sort. I feel like he knows her though.
That makes sense.
So it could be family, could be, I don't know if it's dad's. They're pointing me toward dad's side.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's an uncle. Is her dad gone?
Yes.
I feel like I don't know if it's him though. Feels, it could be. He's feeling family. So hopefully that makes sense.
It does to
she
me.
doesn't
And
like-
I say there a lot.
She doesn't like it, tell him to knock it off.
Here's it sounds like her grandpa.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah, because
that
I'm
makes
thinking
sense,
it was a little older than her dad, but that happens on the Edson all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I was sitting at her house with her at her table, just having a friendship conversation, and the whole side of her hair just kind of picked up and then let it down, and I was like this. And she goes, "What?" And I'm like, "Dude, your hair just stood up like somebody went like this." And she's got like, like this length of hair, sometimes done in different ways, and it was like,
Yeah.
whoop, yarg. And I was like, okay.
That would have been great to see.
Yeah, it was. I wish I had I wish I was just recording our conversation randomly at that moment because I was the only one that saw it. But there was no reason why her hair should have done that.
Yeah.
Like there was literally not static electricity, no fans going, nothing. And we were just talking about what we were going to make for dinner or whatever. And whoop, whoop.
And
But
he's
we-
laughing.
I'm
He's
sure.
laughing over it.
They're all jokesters over at her house.
Yeah, he thinks it's funny.
I mean, who wouldn't?
I mean, I would think it was funny too if I was a ghost. I would be messing with people like nobody's business.
I know, I would too. I know.
Oh yeah.
I told my mom if I die before they do, I'm like I want to be cremated and you have to hang on to my ashes. And she's like I don't want to. I'm like too bad because that just means that if you don't, I will come and torture you.
I'm gonna haunt your ass.
And you guys will be like we gotta move and I'm just gonna go with you.
You're just gonna come too because you're taking the ashes with you.
Just become an attachment.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause she's like no,
Oh,
we're gonna
thanks.
bury you. I'm like no, you're not.
There you go,
Well, that was my
Karen.
mom. My dad wanted to be buried, and she's like, if you die before me, I'm just going to bake your ass. And he was like, what? You're not going to do what I want? She goes, you're dead.
Yeah.
No.
You're dead, bud.
And I said, Dad, you'll be dead. It won't matter. You won't care. So then, sure enough, he died before her, and she had him baked. And, yeah, it was funny. He was at the funeral, too. He's like, this is so nice, he says to me at the funeral.
At his own funeral, he's like, good.
Right?
Yeah, he goes, this
I mean,
is so
hey.
nice. I'm like, I'm glad we could make you happy, Dad.
Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like I don't have anywhere I'd want to have my my ashes like spread, so I'm just like, no, you're keeping me at the house.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm like
My
I might
dad's
actually
part-
hang out in my house, but I'm gonna go over there and bug the crap out of you guys when I want.
Part of my dad is in Tiger Stadium, so.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
place my dad would want to be.
Yeah, the bag broke in my son's pocket, so he's everywhere from home plate all the way around and into the parking garage.
Officially, the bag broke.
The bag broke. So my son, who was, I don't even know how old at the time, 19, 20, maybe a little older, and he goes, "There's chunks in this bag." And I'm like, well, yeah. They don't get everything, huh?
Yeah.
He goes, "God, don't tell me it's bone." I'm like, okay.
Okay, I won't. It is, though.
I know, you got.
But by doing that, you just confirm that it's bone. So.
Oh, I know. I was like, okay, yeah.
Like, you think of it as
He
you want.
puts up with me.
That's
Yeah,
too funny.
for sure. That's funny.
Now,
Aw.
are you planning on, or do you have like another like book on in the works or anything like
Ooh.
that?
Some new reading material for Jeff. She's like, oh, man.
I know.
God, I know. You know, I try to get like a good 2 years out of a book.
I was just curious.
promised. I had promised. Yeah, it's a secret, so don't tell.
All right. My bad.
I had promised no, but basically I have a 5th book kind of written, but it's so much work, and my husband hates it because I will disappear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I play classical music, and he hates classical music.
Oh, I get it. That's terrible.
But it makes me zen, and I just
It
go
works.
to this place, you know.
Put your headphones on.
Yeah. So I thought, if I do a 5th book, I've got somebody that will put it on Amazon for me. I will pay her. I don't care how much it costs. 'Cause that's
Ron, you would ask about the wheel of porn.
awful. But other than that, it's kind of cool. It's a fun process for the most part. But
Right. No, I was just curious, because I just feel like, I mean, where that one was, I just feel like you probably have more based on when you had that one, you know, written, published, you know, stuff like that. So I was wondering.
yeah. Well, thank you for asking. At this point, I don't know.
That's
I
fair.
really don't. I mean,
That's
it's
fair.
kind of like having a baby. You just kind of go, well, that hurt. So, and then
Right.
as the time goes, you forget how much that hurts. So let's have another one, you know? So, like maybe.
And then you have another one, and then you're like,
Yeah.
vasectomy.
That hurt. Yeah, remind me. We're not doing that again.
Yeah. Everybody with multiple kids says that too. Or we got another ghost question through the internet. Our friend, our friend that's tuning in says, "Wish I knew who made the wheel of porn that I found in my attic." Do you know, like
porn?
a wheel of porn in his
You need
attic?
to explain this, like.
So it's like a circular piece of wood with naked people all over it. that
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you have any input for them on who made that?
Probably the weirdest
She's like,
question you've
I
ever
know,
been
not
asked.
probably not, right?
Yeah, you know what? That's ranking.
Congratulations,
Pretty
Ron.
up there. I actually kind of like it. It was a dude, kind of a creepy dude. And so this was part of a thing.
Oh, I really
When you spun the wheel, because this was a group event,
Oh,
when you spun the wheel, that was what you did.
Oh, interesting. All right.
that could make sense. I don't know.
So
I
they
don't
just
know.
weren't
Oh, I
pictures,
liked
they were
it.
like poses and stuff.
I've seen it.
Kim just shut up. She crossed her arms, crossed her legs, and went,
I've seen it. I'm not
okay,
trying to. I mean, yeah. So I've seen it.
Like,
I'll show you.
No, I want to see it.
well, it was a bald guy, heavy.
It's always the bald guys.
Always the bald guys. You got to watch out for them.
I'll tell you what. Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully
so-
that gave you some kind of answer, Ron. If you know who that is. A
And
bald guy.
don't burn it if you're gonna get rid of it. Bury it.
It's in the room where I sleep at their house right now.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's just chilling. I look at it when I go to bed, like, hey. Naked ladies, how you doing?
Good night. Yeah.
It's very 70s, yeah. Like, it's very
Very
weird. Like, you
70s?
can tell it's not new. How about that? I'm
Yeah.
trying not to give too much away about it because
So
I've
you're
seen
just
it.
saying that Ron didn't make it. Is what you're
Ron
saying.
definitely
Ron did
didn't
not
make
make it.
it.
All right.
No, but I wouldn't put it past him.
I know.
Although his would be like a wheel of wrestling moves that you have to spin, and then he'll do that wrestling move on you.
I could see him doing that
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
We need something like that at the haunted house.
Oh, okay. Actually, yes, we are putting one of those into the haunted house.
Well, I meant like
it's a clown area. You have to spin.
no, for me though.
Not for porn.
For me, and then
So you'd have to put like cover-ups on the.
Well, yeah, no, we're making a new one, but we're using the wheel of porn as inspiration.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
That
Okay.
is
So
funny.
yeah, it's always an adventure. It's always something.
Yeah. that's
Anna,
true.
you've been really quiet and asking any
Yeah,
questions. Do you
yeah.
have questions for her?
I don't
You're like processing. You're tired from working all day too. We've been Anna and I were at the haunted house all day building and cleaning and stuff. So
Wow.
that's just
Yeah. I'm just like
she's rebooting still.
Not me.
No,
I just thought I'd give you a
everything's
chance 'cause,
been
like,
just
time's yeah.
Everything's been just interesting, just listening.
Yeah, I feel like you've just been
Part of it.
soaking it up.
Well,
Like
I honestly
everything up.
keep
Yeah.
forgetting she's sitting there until like
She's
I'm
just
looking
soaking up
and
the
then I see
information.
see her out of the corner of my eye.
I guess
Ron says
the main,
elbow drop from the roof of the
I
top
guess
of the
the
bed.
main one I'm
Okay.
trying to understand more is what an elemental is. Like I've not heard of them before. So,
Elementals are inhuman,
Okay.
and they're basically a compilation. They're a makeup of everything. Like there was a house in Florida we used to rent,
Mm-hmm.
and the stuff that went on in that house must have been pretty anxiety filled, or arguments, or just like because all of these emotions is all energy and it doesn't dissipate. It has to go somewhere, so it collects and it becomes inhuman entities, and they become elementals. And that, I mean, they don't all have to, but that's really 90% of what they're made up of.
Huh.
Is and so you can imagine the ones in Eloise, how bad they are, because oh my God, what was there, you know?
Yeah, all the
Yeah.
trauma there.
Be interesting
So
to
yeah,
see
so
one
that's
sometime.
what they are.
You
Well,
probably
you
see
know,
one and you don't even know it.
Sometimes they were known in the Jewish space. They were called Gollum.
Huh.
So
Makes
that
sense.
name might sound familiar from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he was. He was jealousy and rage and anger and greed, and
Oh, that's
he was
interesting.
inhuman.
Interesting.
So that's Gollum.
Okay.
This person that's watching says, I hope my grandfather hasn't come at you with his false teeth. I don't know if that makes sense
I'm-
to you.
I don't
It
know.
does.
Okay, good.
Okay. I was like, maybe it was
Yeah.
toward Ron and his wheel
Yeah,
of porn.
sorry,
Like, I didn't-
no.
That is funny. Yeah, there was that in a reading. There was, yeah, false
So-
teeth in a reading.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, oh my gosh, that is hysterical. I love it.
Wow.
Okay. I thought it was towards Ron. I'm not gonna lie.
No, yeah.
Just somebody's like, well, I hope
Yeah.
because of wheel of porn.
Well, you never know
know
with Ron, I guess.
I know. Because I
Well,
mean,
because when I do a reading, I get images
Mhm.
and I don't hear, so it's like it'd be like looking at you guys with no sound.
Mhm.
So then
Yeah.
I have to tell my client everything I'm seeing. So then the one was like, all right, so I'm getting false teeth. But they're taking their false teeth out. They used to do weird things and turn their teeth around. And so, yeah. So I'm watching this
oh, it's
spirit.
freaking me out.
play with the teeth, you
His
know.
teeth going,
My grandma I never knew she had dentures until a certain point when I was like probably almost in my teens, and we were over visiting, and then all of a sudden I just see like, she must have been messing with it. She was messing with it or something, and all of a sudden I just see like her, like the top of her, you know, like the top part of her teeth was kind of out of her mouth really quick, and then she put them back in, and I was like,
Ooh.
like I was like, what? I looked at my mom. I'm like, what's wrong with her teeth? It's like she has dentures, and I looked at her and I was like, don't do that again.
Yeah,
That
like
would
what
get
the
me
hell?
Yeah.
Creeps me out. And I'm like, no dentures, no,
Mm-mm. Get him away from me.
no.
Oh, that's pretty fabulous. I
Oh,
like it.
some weird stuff. But I know we're running out of time. I don't mind talking, but
I love
you
talking.
know, I know.
I'm sure Exie has other things to do.
I'm sure she does. Yeah.
She only
It
gave
has
us
been
so
a
much
lo-
of a block.
It has been the longest few days My girlfriend's husband passed away
Oh, no.
at 63.
Oof.
So I drove to Harrison to say goodbye to him and to give her a hug, and we turned around and came back home. So we get there, eat dinner, do that, come back. And then the next day I had to be in Cereal Town. So drove out there, did that cleansing, came home, and then we had company yesterday. And so it was just kind of like,
Been a long day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ready for bed.
yeah, it's been long and emotional, you know, so you feel bad, but and it's like I told her, I said, you call me. I don't care what time of day it is. I will check on him for you. And I said, he's going to be with you. So it's an easy check, but you just let me know. I don't care what time of day. And I will let you know he's fine. And it's the coolest thing too, because a lot of spirit will, when they die, they go back to being about 35 to 37. Felt the best, looked the best. Life was easier, you know, nothing hurt.
You get to pick your age.
And so I'll see them, and he went back to that. And so it was really cute. He's just grinning. He goes, I didn't really plan on this, but feels good. You know? So, and I have to be careful how I word that, and, you know, because I don't want to break her heart, because it's nothing to do with her. This is all him, you know?
Right.
He had a blood clot, went to lung or brain, I forget, and took him. So he really did. He says he didn't plan it, but we plan everything before we come back. So reincarnation, you know. But yeah, so that was just kind of heavy.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad for her. It's like, damn it, you know.
Yeah.
A long week for sure.
Too young.
That's way too young.
Yeah. But
And then we have another one from Terry. She's the one about, you know, her grandpa, or telling us like her grandpa pulling her hair. She says she was wondering about the spirits that were in the arcade building that burned in Holly.
You know, in downtown Holly, there was a big fire.
oh, you know, that was so bizarre, because I'm watching the news, and they're all just standing back, and they're all watching this. They all stepped out of the building. So they are there. They will either, some will leave because the objects they were attached to are gone. But so they'll either go home, or they just wander, and then they'll find another place to go and attach to something else. Hopefully they don't attach to people, because that's not a cool thing to do. But it happens, you know. So, but they all stepped out. They were like ringed that part of the building. It was really. It was like watching when in New York, when the World Trade Center, and there were thousands of angels hovering over these buildings. And the people that jumped or fell, they were dead before they hit the ground.
Wow.
They were already gone. They'd already taken
Honestly,
their souls.
that's good.
Yeah.
It's terrible to say, but it is actually better than
It
feeling
was-
that.
Yep, because you could see them. I mean, and they were just there was nothing in them as they floated down. And so they were gone. And so having seen that, I watched Holly, because I love Battle Alley. I love that whole area. And they stepped out. You know, it's like they just, some registered it, some knew what it was, some didn't understand it, and some lamented it because it's the chair or the picture they were attached to for always, you know.
Yeah. Even when like people were saying, some people I know that live in Holly, before I went down there like the next day to go visit them actually, and her daughter was like, oh, when you go through town, you can just, it feels different. And I was like, sure, Jan. And then I went through town, and I was like, okay. Like you could really feel a difference when you were down there. And then we walked Battle Alley, and they got all the fences and all that set up, and they had one of the doors open, and it was like you could almost see like them looking like, is it cool? Are we okay? Are we safe now? Or like, are they gone? Whatever. It was really, none of us could really put into words the experience of like being down there when that. there at Ron says there was a big showcase of dolls in that building.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah,
as
I
a doll
did hear about
enthusiast, I will tell you that's sad.
That's always the dolls.
Yeah, that might be.
Always the dolls.
I
that
love
have,
them.
That have attachments.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have enough haunted dolls. So if anybody does have haunted dolls that they would like to give to me, I'm here. I love them. I love the haunted babies. Yeah, we have a lot. I have a lot of them.
You do.
I do. Yeah.
You do. Well,
Yeah.
I know that you're tired from your week, and I know I've been thankful that you've been on and talking to you and stuff like that.
Thank you guys.
And hopefully I'm planning on being at the Mid Michigan Paracon 2 this year, so hopefully I'll see you there.
I hope so too. They do such a great job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sad.
They really do.
I'm just sad that they moved it. So.
And I get it though, because
Absolutely.
either that hotel something was happening there. They were either revamping or ripping it down. So.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah,
not-
if they're, you can't really be in the building while they're doing that. So I guess,
Right. Yeah, no, when I saw
Not
that, I
safe.
was just like, oh my God. I'm like,
Right.
that's a 2-hour drive.
Blah.
You
Well,
know? Yeah. Everything's 2 hours. I swear to
really
God,
seems
everything's
to be-
2 hours.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Well,
But
it's like
it'll be great, and because they do such a wonderful job that they've grown it just exponentially. So I would assume they needed some space because
Yeah, I was
they could make it
kinda
even
wondering.
bigger.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if that was the reason.
It was kind of awkward last year too, with the way
Yeah,
So
it was.
I get
the
it.
setup was a little weird, but I mean, it was cool. I hadn't been there. I think that was like my second one. Yeah, it was, and I mean, it was definitely cool, but
Right, for sure. Well, hopefully
Yeah, they
bigger
do-
and better things for them.
Yeah, they do a great job. Justin and Kim, they do a great job.
Most Kims are good
So
at what they do.
I love to work with them.
Professional
What?
Kims. Woo. I say, Kim, of course, she knows what she's doing.
Kim's good.
she's just giving herself a big head. Don't worry about it.
I was like,
Oh,
it's
that
another,
Kim.
it's another
That's
Kim.
why.
Yeah, see, we know what we're talking about.
It took me a minute.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's
It's
okay.
all right.
Sometimes the jokes are just for me.
I expect it, and then I'm just kind of like, maybe she won't, and then of course she does. So
And she does.
I do. Can't help myself.
I
Can't
know.
stop, won't stop.
I know.
So yeah, very cool.
All right. Well, was there anything you wanted to? I guess we usually call it plugging. If you have, you kind of did the events already, but
website,
yeah,
store.
Yeah. Anything Exie Paranormal.
There you
Type
go.
it in. And it's pretty simple. XieParanormal.com, XieParanormal@gmail.com.
Easy to
Facebook,
remember.
I'm Exie Susanne. I think I'm Bruce Smith. I hyphenated for that. But yeah. And then there's 3 out there. There's a haunted one, there's a spiritual one, and then just my regular. But yeah, so if they have questions or want to just chat or be friends, get a hold of me. I'm
Very
out
cool.
there. So thank you guys so
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah, no,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had a great time. If there's anything else you want to say before you go, if not, you can go do whatever it is that you have to do, and we'll wrap it up.
Just I want to say thank you and be safe, and don't forget, Jeff, take an Epsom salts shower or bath for me.
okay.
You
Damn
got
it.
Cleanse
something
yourself
behind
in the
you.
waters of Lake
I gotta
Minnetonka.
go buy some now.
I did
Yeah,
that
it's
one
like
time. I've
99
done that
cents.
exactly once in my
All
life.
right. Yeah. I had some and I gave it to my mom.
I had
That
like
was a few years.
I had
ago.
like itchy leg or something, and somebody was like, "Take it up some salt bath," and that's the only time I've done it.
I've never heard
I
that.
don't know.
But all right, I can do that.
Yeah, do it, Jeff.
Yeah,
Don't tell me.
that'd be good.
I didn't. I'm agreeing with her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will do that. I will do that.
Awesome.
I'm sure these guys here will hold me accountable too.
Yeah.
I'll probably be like,
Everybody online is
Yeah.
saying they can't wait to see you at all these events, and thank you for your time and all that. I know you can't see the comments, but if anybody has things they need help with, like you said, Exie Paranormal on like all social medias, get a hold of her or go pay her money at one of these conventions for a reading.
Or I can read online or on the phone or in person. So
or pay for it at a convention.
So many different
Get her
options
some
for you
money.
guys. You
Get her
got
some money.
internet. You got all these things.
And I've actually
Oh,
had, you can't see it, but I actually had like a little
Right.
crawl thing on the bottom. So I brought up like your books, and that's why I was asking you earlier. So, just like look for them on Amazon, and then your books, and then, like your name's next to it. But because the images of the books are they're tiny on my screen. I'm sure if people have them blown up on, yeah. I mean, if they're going widescreen or something on their computer, they're probably a decent size.
There you go. We got the links
When you
in there,
receive
too.
your book, it will be this big.
It'll be regular size. Don't worry.
Nope, you got to have a magnifying glass, and you have to have tweezers to turn
really
the
get in
pages, and
Tweezers to turn the page.
Uh-huh,
It's cheaper that way,
Exactly.
It is.
And more green. Because you don't
Cost-
use as much paper.
right, costs less but more of a profit.
Yeah, for sure. Charge double.
But yeah, so I've got that on there for you, and I can contest, like they were good books, so
I'm gonna read
very very interesting.
I appreciate that.
The uncle thing was kind of cracking me up from times. I'm like, I don't know what I would do. like
It was just, I'd get so mad at him, and I'd have him there, and he'd be sane, he'd be lucid, and it's like, okay, all right, so you're gonna go home, and then I'd bring down white light, and I'd be so close, and then he'd zone out on me again, and it was like, crap.
yeah, you could kind of like sense your irritation with like that stuff when I was reading it. And I'm like, oh my god, like I don't know.
Because
Like this dude.
you'd be this close, or I got him halfway up in the light, and I could see his legs. He's kicking. He's like halfway through the garage.
He's like, no.
His little legs are kicking, and I'm like, damn it, you're going. So I got a plunger, in the head. I use all this imagery, and I'm like, it's like I'm loading a cannon. And I'm getting him out of my arms. So finally, my grandma grabbed a hold of him and took him up.
Because wasn't there a time where he was almost like he was just like appeasing you, and like he was like, I don't know, like I don't want to say like halfway, but somewhere, and then he just decided to like drop out or something like that.
Yep. Yep. So I just turned around, slammed the garage door, and came back into the house. I was done. I think I had a glass of wine at that point too. I was just like, I was like, I can't. So, and then before that, I took him on the road. I was like, well, if you're going to hang around, I'm going to use you. So let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so he was in my talks for like a whole season.
Nice.
That's great. Well, it gave you some material, I guess.
He did. And people were afraid of my booth because I'd had him on a stand. I had him on an easel behind my table. And they just worked their way around,
What's up with this guy?
And I'm like, I know, he's there. He's
vibing.
It's that one person in your family that you try to avoid, except they're strangers still trying to avoid him.
Yeah, but I learned then that was me that the family was trying to avoid. It was.
Aw.
I know. I learned about 5 years ago. I was the black sheep. I was like, "Are you shitting me? No." Like, really? I always thought it was you. Yeah.
Crazy.
Too funny.
That's awesome. That's too funny.
Yeah, good times,
That was cracking me up when I was reading it. It was irritating me too. I'm like, oh my god, like what would I have done?
Well, that's some good storytelling then. You got him involved.
Mm.
Yes.
Here you
There
go. You did it.
Almost.
Very
I
cool.
was like, I don't know. But yeah, so check out her books. They're all listed in the little.
Or at
Or
XEParanormal.com.
Yup. And they're also in the description too.
Yeah, look at it. All the good things Jeff's got lined up.
I know. I try.
Cool.
I usually fail. When
Hey,
it's
you
just,
did it.
I know. I did it. I know.
Doesn't matter about all the times you failed. This time you did it.
I know.
See?
See, there you go.
Hype.
Alright.
But yeah, no, we appreciate you being on, and
Taking
I
your time.
look forward to hopefully seeing you if at the Mid Michigan one for sure.
I
Maybe
hope so,
Anna,
too.
Anna and I can make it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Probably not.
You never can.
It's probably during season.
It's in November.
Oh, it's in November. That's right. The 13th. The wrong one.
I don't know.
Anyway, we'll talk about it later.
All right, but we appreciate it nonetheless.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yep,
you.
thanks.
Have a good rest of your night, and
Thank you, everybody,
condolences
for
to your
tuning in.
friend. Yes.
Yep,
What do you do?
see
You
you
have to-
later.
You have to hang up on her now.
Bye. Take care.
See ya.
Yup, bye.
Bye. So she's gonna sit there and wait for us to hang up.
You're
on
gonna
her.
have to wait a second. I gotta
What are you
remember my
doing?
buttons. I gotta find my buttons, Kim.
Yay! He did it. Button. She hung up.
I know she hung up.
Yay! Not yay because
Oh,
she hung up,
oops.
but because technology works.
Hit the wrong button. There we go.
And we're back.
With a little,
Here
with a little
we
black spot in there,
are.
but that's okay because I can't get rid of that
That's
right
okay.
now.
We're just done. We are gonna wrap up now. We already went
Yup.
over.
We went over a lot of things already.
It's good. We're gonna do it
Yep.
anyway.
And don't
So-
forget about the new buttons.
Oh yes, you can be fashionable like me.
Like Kim, you can have some flair.
Yes. They're the little baby ghosts.
Where you
And
can't
when
see
people
it, but it's
say,
like,
What's that? You
Yeah.
can say ghostly hauntings.
Yep. It's
Check 'em
gonna be
out.
awesome, is what it's gonna be.
And yeah, so do that. So you're gonna go to our Facebook page.
Yeah, Facebook. You have to contact me through Facebook for these bad boys because I don't have them anywhere yet, and it would be easier that way. I'm not gonna lie. And I've got stickers too, which there are probably numerous pictures on the Facebook page as well, and you can kind of see a few of them back here. I also have a new one that is almost like the button, but it's bigger.
It's cool.
Yes, it's cool. It's
Bam!
It's that.
That's what's on the button.
Yeah.
Yup, that's
There
the
you
button,
go.
but this is bigger, and you can stick it to stuff.
And we got all kinds of cool merch on
Yeah.
our website. Like Anna has a coat, but you can't get that one anymore. But
Yeah, I got the
Oh yeah,
bomber
we have
jacket
other
on the back
cool
here,
stuff.
which I love.
Fashion.
you can get this sweet shirt right here.
Yeah. That one's really comfortable. Anna wears it all the time.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got the tank top. Look, we got everything that we need here.
We got some
Anna,
fun hats.
Anna has the regular shirt on,
Mm-hmm.
which just has the same logo as this on the back.
Yep.
But there's a lot of different stuff on there. And if you want to rock the ghostly hauntings, and then if you send us a picture, we'll post you on the Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and you could be an official model for us.
There you go.
And we don't give you
I
a
like
discount
it.
or anything.
No,
because you've already bought it.
But we'd appreciate it nonetheless.
But a shout out is cool and
Yeah.
homey behavior.
And then as you can see right there in the lower third, I make them awesome devices, which you can
Should buy at least 2 of them.
also contact me through Facebook on that one, and I'll set you up with like a PayPal invoice and go through it that way. It would be with shipping, kind of depending on where you're living. It's roughly just under $10, but it could vary just a tiny bit.
Just for the shipping, not
Yeah,
for the
just for the
device.
shipping, not for the device. The device is
30.
is 30 and it works everywhere.
If you're local, we can arrange a local pickup. Maybe.
Kim will have to arrange a local pickup.
They can come to the
It was
haunted
her
house.
idea. Anything to get those people to the haunted house, right? Oh my god.
Hey, you should have the devices for sale.
I thought
haunted
about
house.
it, but I
That'd
don't
be a
know.
good idea.
Buy a couple of them out for sale, see what happens. Paranormal equipment for sale.
Oh, I thought about it.
Anyway, so you're
Yeah.
gonna go to Ghostly Hauntings Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We don't have a Snapchat.
No.
YouTube, Facebook,
Yup, Twitter.
Twitter,
And
which we never
if
use.
you haven't done it, subscribe.
And then mash that
on the
like,
tube, on the YouTube.
do the subscribe to Station,
Mm-hmm.
and then let us know if you saw any ghosts.
Yep. You know, leave comments. You know, if you watching the oh my god, the not live version, you know, feel free to still post comments in there, and I will get them over. And you know, as long as
We'll
they're like
respond.
general, yeah, I'll try and respond. Or if it's more towards Exie there. I mean, I'm sure they can't be more geared towards you in a sense.
No, oh yeah. If you
But
have questions
if it's
directly
just
for
a general,
Exie,
if it's
Contact
just
her.
general, you can contact her, you know, for anything that's like personal. If it's just a general question that maybe we can answer, or I mean, I can always just reach out and be like, hey, blah blah blah, and get you an answer that way.
Right. It would probably be if it's for Exie.
Yeah,
It would
it'd
probably be easier for you to
go
just go to
directly
her.
Yeah.
But if it's for one of us, we got you.
Yep.
Or somebody watching,
Yep.
maybe we can see what we can do for you.
Yep.
But so yeah, don't feel shy if you are watching this
At a later
at a
time.
later date and you have questions. feel free to ask them or message us.
Yep.
And if it's a question we want to just cover on the next live, you might just have to tune in,
Yep.
which will be
It's gonna be in September.
September.
Because I'm not gonna do next month because
and then we're taking
I
off
have a
October.
a busy weekend that weekend.
Yep. And then we don't do one in October because we're all working and exhausted.
I already
so.
told you I'm not working.
Yes, you are.
I'm not working.
So yeah, make sure you're liking us on all the things and you like us as people, because if not, you have terrible taste.
That could be fair. Yeah. Could be fair.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna hit a button here in a minute
Mash all the buttons.
after I figure out what button I have to
I
hit.
love buttons.
Because hotkeys change in my world, so woo.
I thought he said hockey for a second.
Yeah,
I was
Yes.
like, wow.
Hockey has
Do you like
changed in my
sports
world.
now?
Yes.
What do you like hockey?
Go sports.
All right, well, thanks for watching.
See y'all.
We'll see ya.
Thank you, viewers.
Sorry about Kim.
No, I'm not.